Okay, and welcome to another day of Lancer. This is Wayfar, a Lancer RPG. We are on day 21, episode 20. Today's episode is Renewal. Um, it's been about a month since our last session because we missed last session.
Sorry, everybody.
It's fine. So as a quick recap, it's been about 6 months since you guys have last been on Wayfar. It was a 3-month trip to the battle that you're at, and a 3-month trip back. So you have come back to Wayfar a little bruised and beaten. And things are a little different than they were when you left. It's been about a half a year, which is nothing to sneeze at.
Some shit happened. Ugh.
Yeah, some stuff happened. So this is your first day back. What did you guys do for your day back? Assuming you unloaded. Kat had to get her goblin repaired, which is kind of undergoing that process right now. What's everyone's first thing planned aside that you can?
Al would have probably, after the last battle, just the first thing would have just asked Kat if she was, doing better since the last catastrophe. He wouldn't phrase it that way, of course, and would want to see if she wanted to hang out with him or if she wanted to do her own thing. Trying to just be friendly because she did almost die, basically. Not that death
she
is
was
the end.
trapped in the damn mech.
Not that death is the end, but death is still pretty fucking scary. And so, I would probably just approach and be like, "Hey, do you want me to hang out with you? Do you want me to follow you around today? Do you need anything?"
I mean, I feel like Kat would be the extremely annoying, almost like the paranoid person at the vet whose animal was having surgery.
Right.
So she's probably she probably at some point had to leave when they were working on the goblin because she would have driven them crazy. So she's kind of probably just pacing around, kind of waiting news. Because
Gotcha.
that's the stage she's in.
So then Al would have probably tried to give her a healthy distraction at that point. Like, hey, they'll be fine. The oh god, I can't remember the name of your goblin. I keep thinking it's cassowary, but that's wrong. That's fine.
Milavani.
Thank you. Sorry. Shit. Anyways. So Al would have just put a hand on Catchhold and been like, hey, Milavani's going to be fine. These folks know what they're doing. Let's go get a drink or something.
I feel like that conversation would have ended very differently if he walked up and put a hand on his shoulder. Like, Don't worry, Cat. Cassowary is fine.
Yeah.
That would have been a very different conversation that occurred.
He only thinks of bird names for mechs. He doesn't know.
Yeah, but not even giving a mech a unique bird name would get him in a lot of trouble.
I'm gonna be honest. The first thing that came to my head was emu, and I'm like, no, that's bad.
No, that is certainly not the name of her mech.
Phoenix works as long as it works after it died.
Oh.
Wow. Hold on. I have an idea. I could
think
give it a bird name.
Oh, God.
Remy's over at her mech just polishing off the scorch marks from all the other mechs.
Okay.
Quick interjection. We could call it the oxpecker.
Why?
It's the same bird that rides on the backs of rhinos and like grooms them and picks off ticks and stuff. I don't know. It was an interesting, comparison to what happens in battle. But anyway, so that would be the thing. I would first just see if Cat's okay, see if he can distract her and get her, to stop thinking about stuff for a while.
I kind of want to hear that conversation. Be like, hey, Cat, I have a new name for your mech. Called the Oxpecker. And she'd be like, why? And then that whole explanation happens. I can just imagine the look that she gives him after that conversation.
I feel like the conversation that I would have about that and the conversation that Al would have about that would be two totally different things. Because he wouldn't know what the fuck that bird is called.
No, probably not. Okay, so you guys are gonna go distract
Yes.
yourself with drink, which, fair.
If Cat agrees to it.
Yes, Cat will let
Um,
herself be held to a drink.
And Romy is apparently just buffing out the scratches.
Yeah, some of the bits of the other mechs hit my mech, and it got kind of...
How dare they explode in your proximity?
So
Oh,
did
boy.
Al try to talk Cat out of attempting to bribe the engineers to hamper Wilmy's mech?
Did that actually happen?
I don't think Al's even
Because
aware
we can
that
roleplay
occurred.
that right now.
I mean, I'm just saying. After that comment, yeah, that's what's gonna be happening.
Well, she didn't say it. She's just over there doing it.
Yeah.
So you're seeing this like nice shiny mech that's mostly still shiny, but Romy's just buffing out the goblin scratches in it.
Yeah.
Yep. Picking out bits of goblin.
So yeah, Cat's totally going to try to bribe.
Is Cat gonna say to Al that's what she's doing before she walks over to a mechanic?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I mean, probably not that straightforward. She's probably gonna just be staring daggers over in Romy's direction.
And that's all he says is, okay.
And and he's spent enough time with Cat that he would know that vengeance was on her mind. Because they just came out of the cryo freeze. It's still all fresh to her.
Right.
And she's gonna be like, I need to have a word with the mechanic. But she wouldn't be going toward the mechanics that are working on the goblin. So it's really obvious.
Okay, so Al's gonna follow her quickly and just kind of lean down and be like, your mechanics are over there, and kind of like do the thumb pointing thing. Like, they're over there.
She's gonna just say, I know. They're not the ones I need to talk to.
Al's gonna kind of circle around in front of her and put his hands out and be like, whoa, what are you gonna say to these guys?
I'm not going to say anything. I'm going to give suggestions.
Remy's whistling a popular children's song from her youth about, it's kind of a Humpty Dumpty type deal.
Oh, so Pop Goes the Weasel, basically.
I feel like That's gonna lead to some confusion because, like, I feel like Al, of all people, would just be like, "Wait, how are you gonna suggest things without saying things?"
Al's gotten a little bit better at subtext. Let's be fair. He's not totally inept anymore. He's talked with people for a while now.
Yeah, I mean, Kat's been teaching him hacking, so.
Yes. And
Now, plenty of ways to say things without, to suggest things without saying them with hacking.
Fact.
Harker is apparently assuming direct control.
So
actually, what
Al's
is
just
Harker doing while this is about to go down? Because I imagine Harker picked up, like, this is going to happen also.
Yeah, I mean, Harker did kind of wander over towards Kat and Al to like make sure Kat was okay. He's not getting involved in this one. He's gonna stand over to the side and just be available for drinks later.
Just like, I am not getting involved. If I get involved, I'm complicit in the crime. If I just pretend I don't know what's going on, it's not my fault.
He's just like, I'm gonna let the tank handle this, and I, the rogue, am going to stand near the door.
So I was just going to be like, so I was going to stop for a second. He's going to consider his options. There's two options for Al. This is a look at the inner workings of the abandoned firehouse that is Al's mind. One brain cell says, let it happen. It'll be entertaining. And the other brain cell is like, yeah, but then, you know, Romy could get hurt, or the mechanics could get very confused. And then Al thinks again for a second. He's like, is anybody... Huh?
I like that that's on equal levels. Okay, but Romy could get hurt, or the mechanics could get confused.
I almost feel like the mechanics getting confused is, in fact, the desired end result.
Honestly, and this is what happens, and both of the brain cells look at each other, and they're just like, but Romy could get hurt.
Yeah, and there's no backups up here. I don't think.
I would assume there are. Are there?
Are we, like, continuously backed up? Well, not
Yeah.
like that.
Are we currently being backed up to the cloud?
I mean, you're on the planet.
Yeah.
You're not,
Oh,
like,
I thought we were. Okay.
Yeah, you're back on planet. Like, you are back planet side. You guys did come back planet side last session.
So we could die in our sleep and still be back.
I mean, yes.
Well, Romy's
very specific, but yes.
Romy's got some stuff going on in her room.
Yeah.
Al just looks at Kat and goes, "You're just gonna... Are you going to... Wait, you're not going to talk to them. You're going to suggest some modifications. How violent is this going to get?"
Kat's gonna, like, give this sign and then be like, she blew up the goblin.
I was just going to look at her and go, and that was definitely a really bad thing, and you almost died. I get that, but we're all fine. And let's be fair, that was kind of my fault too, because we talked about it on the radio, and we were just looking to end the battle. So if there's anybody you want to be mad at me for just risking your life and limb with a potential really bad decision.
At what point does Romy start noticing this happening? Are they even close enough for her to pick up on it?
I mean,
well, I mean, they're, like, bickering across the room.
And Al's trying to keep it low volumes, but
that's normal. She wouldn't pay mind to
yeah,
that.
like, I don't know that this is... They're bickering with Harker looking on. This is business
par
as
for the
usual.
course.
Yeah.
In fact, she's probably like, well, thank God this doesn't involve me for once.
Anyways, so lost my train of thought there for a second.
Don't do the thing.
So yeah, don't do the thing. It's also my fault, etc., etc.
Romy's gonna send some of her drones over to to the mech she destroyed to see if they can help the engineers at all.
Kat's just gonna point at the drones and then look at Al and going, "You really put me to fucking put up with that."
So out of character here, Rumi sent drones over to the mechanics to try to help with the goblin?
Yeah, helping with goblin.
Al takes one look at this.
A good or a bad thing?
Yeah, Al
It's
takes
a
one
bad
look.
thing. He look at her. She stole from Al's freaking room.
Yeah.
Well, it's up to the engineers. She's gonna ask them if they want the help or not.
They do not.
At the same time, though,
the drones quickly come back after talking to the engineers for like 2 seconds.
During this time, Al
Kat's instructions would have been like, if anybody harms this mech, you will find that your bank accounts are empty, your identity has been completely purged, and they will probably lock you up for life.
Like, ignoring that, they know who Romy is.
Yeah. But I mean, like, Kat would have probably given that speech. It's just like well, I will frame your family for murders.
She sent the good drones. She didn't send the ones with like the doll heads and stuff on them.
Doesn't matter.
Okay, Sid.
Yeah, I still stand to say that at least we know that Sid had a decent paying job at the end.
Yeah, with a pension.
Yeah.
Like, he's set.
He did okay for himself.
I didn't say good pension. I just said a pension, but still. And it's also kind of a dangerous job, but they make up for that in the pay. I'm not going to get into the inner workings of
Toy Story.
No, I was going to say governmental waste collection positions. But at this point, so all in the span of like a couple of seconds, some droids have started to walk over or did go over, and the mechs were like, no. And then they've come back over.
They made disappointing beepy noises.
So at this point, then Al's just going to look at Kat and go, listen, whatever you do, just remember we're still going to be a team at the end of this. And just be, well, I'm not going to say be gentle, but, just remember that. And Al just steps aside and just walks behind her, following her to Romy.
Be best.
Well, she's not going to Romy. She's going to, like, bribe other engineers.
Right, but he doesn't know that yet, specifically. So he's just going to stay within earshot.
She kind of, like, gives him a scowl, but doesn't, like, discourage him from being near her. And she goes over to one of the engineers, and she's just like, to this guy, look, I need you...
Does Romy notice any of this yet?
I don't know, does she?
Well, she's just talking to an engineer.
One of her engineers.
I mean, does Romy even pay attention to who her engineers are?
Maybe, I guess not, but they would be in her hangar area.
Yeah, but it's not the only mech in the hangar.
I don't think she's naive enough to think that you like her. Even though she loves you, she's like, oh, favorite. And then she's always so mean to her.
Is that what Romy's interpretation of events is?
Looks like a cinnamon roll is a cinnamon roll, but could also kill you. But not on purpose. Probably on purpose.
She doesn't look like a cinnamon roll. And she isn't a cinnamon roll.
I'm confused about who the cinnamon roll is.
Looks like a pretzel. I don't know. I'm done.
Are you hungry? Is that what's going on here?
No, I spent too much time on TikTok this week. Kill me. But anyways, not sue me, kill me. Stop. Just delete it from my phone. Anyways, go on.
So Kat would go up to the engineer and just be like, look, I need you to disable any ability to play music except for like the most annoying ads music that like you can find.
And now we have to figure out if the engineers will be loyal to you or to Romy.
Oh, she's offering money.
Al looks away, hiding a smile, not stopping this.
They might come to Romy and ask for more money.
I mean, Romy owes a huge debt to the company for her destroying an office. So
her mech already kills with memes. I think playing ads is kind of
no, because it's gonna be that music from ads, like that you buy any car ad.
It's not just going to be Jones Barbecue and Foot Massage on loop.
Oh,
It's
you
gonna
mean that California
that
car
we
ad?
buy any car, we buy any car, any that one.
Cars for kids, that one.
No, it's this horrible ad that I sometimes get on YouTube when I'm watching it on the TV, and it's like, we buy any car.
Cars
And
for
it's
kids is worse, I think.
well, yeah, but that's what she's saying. Is just find the worst ones, finds the most
Are we
annoying
having
ones.
a wacky arm waving inflatable tube man moment? Is this what's going on?
Romy likes to sing along on comms, so this should be interesting.
No, because Kat already has a plan for that too.
I mean, you aren't asking for anything like extraordinarily unusual, so they don't say no.
That seems pretty unusual.
No, because this is like in the realm of just like a prank. It's not.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah, it's not gonna do anything bad.
Yeah,
but
she's
it's
not like
certainly not usual.
But if they have met Romy, they understand it. So
Well, I'll give you that.
if they have met Romy, then they are probably not that against doing it to begin with. Like, they don't want to be responsible for Romy dying, but Romy being tormented is probably fine. And if there's any luck, Romy will screw up things more when she tries to fix it.
We'll burn that bridge when we get to it.
I mean, that has
walk.
been Romy's history with trying to fix things. So,
like I said, we'll burn that bridge when we get to it. Okay, yeah, like the mechanics, like that's not a weird request, all things considered. Like,
especially since I'm sure the mechanics know that the goblin is over there and that it's Cat's mech.
I mean, they
And
don't know
Romy's just over
exactly
there, like,
what happened.
no, they won't. They don't know what happened. But the fact that Cat wants like something done to the one polishing her mech right now.
Romy
They're
sends
not
over.
stupid.
Romy sends one of her drones over with a box of goblin parts.
Okay, first of all, where would you even get those?
From out of her mech where they got stuck into the nooks and crannies of it.
I mean, no, the goblin's too small. Like that would have been into like.
Well, I'm talking like bolts.
Al's mech, not.
Yeah, that's true.
Anyways, so Romy has not noticed this apparently. Yes, no, I don't like. I can't.
I guess not, unless you want me to roll for it or something. She's pretty oblivious.
I mean, like it is your character. I cannot control your character.
Nope, she didn't notice.
So you know the mechanics don't really super bat an eye about this. Like, like you are not the first person to come into this hangar and like bribe someone to prank somebody else. Like, like this this is definitely not an unusual thing, honestly. So you know that's a thing that happened. But we'll worry about that later. Romy is busy trying to fix the exterior of her mech that she doesn't really pay attention to, like the fact that during maintenance they're gonna mess with it. I would guess regular maintenance. Because Romy's mech is actually relatively unscathed after that last encounter, all things considered. So now that you've gotten this, what we'll call it revenge.
Oh, that it's just the start.
Oh, I know, but we're gonna define that as revenge.
Yes.
Well, that hardly seems fair.
You
We're
blew
all
up the
done.
goblin.
Now that we got that out of the way, off to get drinks, presumably.
Yeah, Kat would have as they walked away, Kat would have said to Alice "Fine, but I was the right to hack into it."
I couldn't stop you if I tried. Al says.
She kind of paused and she was like, "That's true, but you're also not allowed to give me a moral speech if I hack into it."
Al kind of just leans in closer and goes, there's a big difference between what we agree as with morals anyways, I think on the back end of things. And I know what happened up there. You know what happened up there. Romy presumably knows what happened up there. Get it out of your system, Al says, remembering every time that Romy has slipped through his grasp when trying some ridiculous bullshit.
I was like, "Get vengeance for me too, actually."
Yeah, and Al just leans in a little bit closer and just whispers, and let me know if there's anything I can do to help. And gives her a thumbs up.
It doesn't involve holding Rumi.
Hey, when Kat hacked the cuffs, it worked.
Terrifyingly, yes.
Those were mean.
Okay, so I guess they meet up with Harker at the door, or
Yeah, I mean, I've got nothing else out at this point. It's just like, let's kind of forget about this and do the drinky. He's ready for just socializing in an area that isn't surrounded by the vast expanse of nothingness that is outer space.
Harker was busy, quote unquote, examining some crates so that he wasn't involved in whatever they were planning.
I mean, that's not a bad idea.
True.
One wants to get directly involved in that. Probably.
well, I mean, no one who wants to keep their paycheck wants to get directly involved in that.
Yeah.
Because Kat will be happy to empty their bank account.
Facts.
So you're off to your favorite bar then?
Yep, right across the street from that horrifying place where I dress up as a wrench. I think that's the one. Yeah.
I suppose.
No, that's just like right across from the main.
So, okay, here's a
Lancer
question:
area.
how does payment work? Because they're on a salary now,
Yes, you are getting a salary.
but they were frozen for 6 months. How does that work?
So your time spent in relativity does not count.
Yep.
So even though that is work travel, they couldn't.
Correct. You are not awake. You are not getting paid for things you are not doing.
That seems cheap.
You got time to lean. You got time to clean.
I mean, they were literally in ice. I don't think that.
We weren't being productive. This is capitalism.
I mean, let's be perfectly honest. Think about who you're working for, and then re-question whether or not it seems unusual that they're not paying you for cryosleep.
I mean, that's true. It's not fair. Just clarifying. Because I mean, Justin Barnett's the one who made them go to deep space and then almost get killed. So
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So you guys go off to to your bar of choice.
they basically have a Cheers bar now.
Sure, yeah, we'll go with that. Yeah. So you guys do your bar of choice.
It's like instead of where everybody knows your name, it's where nobody knows your name, and they keep it that way.
I mean, it's where everyone knows who Cat is.
But they don't ever say her name, so it's okay.
Maybe.
Yeah. Where everyone's afraid to say your name.
It's
So
like-
you guys go to your bar. You guys get your drinks. You settle down. I'm assuming Romy didn't come along.
Nope, she just figured out how to get her her NHP into a piece that she can carry around with her, so she's working on trying to figure that out.
So you're gonna carry around your AI on a little cartridge like she's Cortana.
Yep. Well, it's apparently a hard suit integrated flash plug or miniaturized casket.
So you're carrying around your AI like
Yep.
it's Cortana.
Yep.
Okay.
And she basically just asks the weather all the time. That's all she does with it most of the time.
Jeez.
Most sophisticated, nearly intelligent AI system known to man. What's the weather today?
As you're standing outside.
And
Looking
she
up
asks,
into the sky.
she asks where her packages are too sometimes.
Oh, God.
You are responsible for the robot revolution.
Hey, she likes getting out of the.
Well, I
out of
mean,
the
she
net.
also destroyed Cat's mech, which was semi-intelligent too. So, I mean, she did. I mean, the mech's gonna be fine now. But look, Milivani remembers that. That's what came across the screen.
Thank you, robot overlords. Anyways. So you guys get your drink, you settle down. Kat, you get the opportunity to like finally sit down and check up on events,
Yes.
as is your thing. So there's a couple of things to note. Your organization has come back to you kind of backlogged a couple months. So they've been busy. That information that you've been disseminating throughout, like everywhere about like the corruption on Wayfar,
Hmm.
that generated results.
Okay.
Perhaps not in the way you thought you would have liked them to generate results, but in the 6 months that you've been gone, there was a full investigation into the planetary governor of Wayfar. Which was Lane Anders. And he's been ejected from office. In the past month, the new planetary administrator has taken over. He was like one of Anders' underlings. One of
An
the
Anderling.
who kind of didn't get like indicted in this like corruption charge that got levied against the planetary administrator. He's like one of the few people that managed to like step out clean. His name is Alvin Mason. And he has made some interesting sweeping reforms to the way that Wayfar does business. More specifically, perhaps not to the way that you would have liked. While you've been gone, so when you guys left, Holland was on like a weird subcontract. Alva Mason basically renegotiated that contract, and Holland is now no longer providing independent securities enforcement. They've basically they're like full-on military contractors. They're effectively now part of the Planetary Defense Force. Alpha Mason basically went, we're not paying you to consult, and we're not paying you extra. It is your duty as, like, part of the planetary, like, presence that you have to provide service. So they're paying them, like, a reasonably fair rate. But basically the idea is that if you want to stay on the planet, you have to pull your weight.
Okay.
That has not gone over super well with Holland.
Can't imagine why.
But obviously they're not going to back out of that deal either, because the option is basically you either pull your weight or you can get off the planet. Specifically in regards to that, you don't have any further like insight. But just like that is sort of like what was the pertinent affairs of planetary defenses. So about 3 months ago, when reports of your success kind of came back to Wayfar, that did sort of bring an uptick to awareness of what was going on. Wayfar has done a pretty good job of trying to downplay that still. That they're not super the planet still doesn't know the full extent of like how bad things are, but since you were able to sort of guarantee better outcome, they've been a little bit more forthwith about like the fact that there is a conflict, but it's spun in a way that is just like, and we're winning the conflict. Which
I mean,
they're not really, but they're better off than they were.
right. Well, I mean that. I don't know any country in the world, or any world that is going to go like, and we're losing. Sorry, guys.
Right. Absolutely. But like, they have sort of taken your victory as like, and look, we're pushing them back off-world too. So that's a thing.
Okay.
That's sort of what you've gotten to catch up on in the last 6 months. The general consensus, right, of this new Alva Mason is that the lower levels really like him. The people who are like in the higher levels don't, because he sort of represents to the general consensus, right? Like he's different than the last guy. So people who liked the way things were super don't like him, and people who didn't, which is most of the population of the planet, kind of love him.
So the corrupt are unhappy right now, and the people who benefited from corruptness.
Well, yes and no. Like it is not just the corrupt, right? Like industry and business is not super happy.
I mean, since when are they not corrupt?
Yeah, I was about to say they kind of screwed through.
I mean, there's nothing explicitly corrupt about all the businesses, right? Like some of them were. but like there's nothing explicitly like on Wayfar that was just like all businesses are bad. Like even like mid and lower level businesses aren't super happy with the way that Mason is running things. He's basically been like crunching down on regulation, harder for them to do business, and they are getting taxed more basically to front the coverage of the military budget.
Is the worm sock lady okay?
I mean, she's a business. Technically, she would be under increased regulation and taxation. So she would be having a harder time with her business.
Okay.
How much do you pay in taxes, like really though, when you're selling worm socks? I feel like that it's a mostly cash business, and you can. Well, actually, no, there's no real cash, is there? Everything's credits. Never mind. I'll shut up.
You could probably do a lot of trade though.
Yeah. Trade you some worm socks for some.
And I mean, like
worm beer.
most things, most taxes that tax businesses in most countries, at least like from our perspective, are they're obviously higher on the rich people. You know, it's like,
Usually.
well, I'm considering like the whole like proposed new capital gains tax, for example. But you have to make $1 million per year in capital gains for the new tax to even bother you. And it's like, yeah, well, if I made $1 million a year in freaking investment capital gains, I would love to have to pay them more taxes. Thank you. Like, I would love to be in a position where that is a problem. So, I mean, like, that's normally how taxes tend to work, is when you don't make a lot of money, you don't tend to get taxed as highly as others.
You don't get
Normally,
taxed
yes.
as much, relatively speaking, but like an increase in taxes.
Yeah, no, it's gonna suck, but I mean, like, it's not like usually a universal increase.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, no one's happy about a taxation in general, obviously. But yeah. So like, Alva Mason, sort of a mixed bag. It does seem like he is pro the little guy, as it were.
Has he done anything with the mining?
No, he
It's
has.
probably a minor concern to him. Sorry, I'm done.
I hate it here.
No, you're not.
I laughed.
No, so Alva Mason's unofficially, like off the record, Alva Mason has focused his entire restructuring of the last month or so purely on military affairs. In terms of like industry and all of that, his reforms haven't really done much in terms of like how the day to day is run. It's more about like, I just need your money to pay for things so that I can focus on this thing.
Well, I mean, that makes sense. The Blade Cult is literally sitting there attacking places, so it's not like that is not a concern.
Yeah.
So, like, unofficially, his entire like month in office has been basically militarization of the planet. Officially on the record, his 1 month in office has been it's basically been pitched as he is reorganizing the planetary priorities. Basically been very vague, and the taxation has been written off as sort of like, and we're making you safer.
Always a little dangerous, but okay.
Like, it is contextualized in dealing with the Blade Cult. Like, it's
Right.
not like there isn't It's not just like a blanket, like we're taking your money to make you safer. Like it is specifically
Right,
noted
right.
that it is being
It's just like
allocated.
it could be dangerous in the future. It just depends on if he draws the line or not,
Right.
which we can't know.
Right. So that's sort of been the last, half a year of Wayfar affairs that you've kind of missed out on.
Okay. Cat would probably just issue a brief thing of like, make sure you're keeping an eye on any policies of his that might be slipping under the radar, and just keeping aware of them.
And
To-
to answer the question in chat, no, generally speaking, they don't have pencils, and paper is sort of a luxury. Because not a whole lot of people are processing paper.
Yeah, so when they got handed paper contracts the one time, it was really the guy just showing off.
Yep.
But they do have pens now, if they didn't lose them.
Well, I'm sure like several people have probably pawned them. Or
Yeah.
something to that extent.
I mean,
Yeah.
Cat didn't, because Cat is obsessed with souvenirs.
I'm trying to remember if I even have the pen still in my bag somewhere. Anyways,
That'd be a weird thing to carry with you on missions, honestly.
I'm gonna write down that I have one pen though, just in case.
Yeah, I put it with my socks.
I mean, like, it makes sense for Al, though, because...
Just the hobo
Like,
and
if
carries
you have-
everything with him wherever he goes.
No, like, he's from a prison planet. You don't leave, like, a potentially valuable item.
Plus, look at
Yeah.
his mech. He can carry whatever he wants to battle.
Yeah, at this point I could have a
I
pen
feel
factory
I
inside
feel
the
like
thing.
he has, like a bed in the Albatross. Oh, no, is it the Castaway now? Or the
Like a
Albatross?
long haul
No,
trucker.
It's in the Albatross Mark V now. I'm sticking with Albatross.
Okay. Yeah, I was confused earlier by the
looking forward
Castaway
to the
comment.
next one.
So, like, yeah, I can envision him having, like, a bed in the Albatross now, and, like... like, it's set up like a tiny dorm room.
It's totally man caved out. You have no idea.
I mean, Cat would have some idea, because occasionally she just slips down there. Just like...
I mean, you still
Nope.
have the upgrade that lets you put a whole other person in your cockpit, right?
I
Just
kind
half
of
a
threw that
person,
off
though.
board to put the Eva frame on there. So technically right now, my man cave is just kind of hanging out in storage.
I mean, it's still a giant mech.
Yeah.
Just now it's like it's just full of junk.
My cockpit is larger than usual.
Honestly, I look forward to one day one of you just having a Lancaster and driving around in a giant Winnebago mech.
Listen, the wheels are already put in motion for that.
But yeah, so what else is everyone doing while like Kat is browsing through her PDA basically?
Public display of affection? She doesn't have those.
Waka waka.
Harker would have gone to the bar to order a round of drinks.
Al would have started walking towards the bar with Harker, but probably would have gotten distracted just kind of looking around. At this point, just becoming increasingly paranoid because he's, well, not paranoid, but just kind of curious because it's been so long since he's been planetside. He's going to just ask around
I will
at this
say,
point, and let's start going.
He is unlikely to have noticed the time that passed.
Really?
The bulk of that was in deep freeze.
Yeah, but he knows that time has passed, and he's been in deep freeze before.
Fair.
So he knows that a lot of changes can happen really quickly out from under your nose, and it's just kind of in his nature to ask around after not being around for a while.
Sure.
So he's just going to try to strike up a couple of conversations with some, friendly-looking locals and just kind of see, based off of the knowledge that, Kat shared, he's just going to see what people are thinking about this whole new situation and if there's anything else happening that maybe isn't making news. So basically just making a word on the street roll just to see if there's any information about what's happening that, maybe hasn't come to light. Specifically, he's asking around to see what people know about the current status of. Well, does the public know about that it is Blade Cult that's potentially causing the issue? I'd assume yes at this point, right?
Yeah, like that was never hidden, right? Like
Yeah.
is always an issue on the planet to some degree.
Question: did the information get out about it? The heroes of the past.
Not successfully.
So it was suppressed. Okay.
Like, there's some rumor, but like no one really takes that seriously.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would be specifically asking more about, what do people know about, the danger that the Blade Cult is, possessing, out here. And he's going to try to look for some folks who've been around for maybe a little bit longer, who maybe have lived through more crises and all this kind of stuff, and see what their opinion is on it. Not so much fact, but he's looking for what people think the vibe is. I know that sounds weird. But
check.
just trying to get a feel. Yeah. No, Al's not going to vibe check a random stranger at a bar. That could end in chaos. He vibe checked Kat, 3 episodes ago? Or no, not Kat. Romy? Who did I hit?
I don't remember.
Anyways.
I mean, Romy and Al are the ones who had the slap fight after Kat left the bar.
Yes, right. You left, and then Romy and I had a slap fight. And it was so very strange. And Al got hurt, which is strange. So yeah, he's just gonna try to
You really
do a little
should
word
just
on the
stop
street
making
here.
physical checks against Romy, like.
It's really a problem. It really is.
It's only a problem because you keep making them.
And she's so tiny. It's funny.
I mean, it is basically narrative gold, so I'll keep doing it. I'm like a dog chasing cars. Once I catch it, I don't know what to do with it. Anyways, sorry, I rewatched that entire trilogy over the past week. All right, I'm gonna do a word on the street and just see what people are thinking. Like the next kind of thing that might happen is how they perceive the government and how well they're handling the situation. So that's a 14. Do with that what you will.
Sure. Get a few interesting responses. And we'll deal with the consequences of your roles and how that affects you in a little bit, but let's go with the information first. So your main question was like, are people aware that the Blade Cart are involved? Yeah, you knew that already. To the degree of which they know how bad the situation is, they really don't.
Yeah, and it should be noted that I'm not just walking up to strangers and just like, hey, I've been off planet for a while, let me buy you a drink and let's talk about what's been going on. So I've been buying people drinks. I'm not just like, tell me things, and like, shaking them by their shoulders.
You just walk up to a person, you just grab him by the shoulders, stare him like in the eye, and then you
What
just
year is it?
shake him repeatedly and be like, what's going on?
I mean, that would probably work for Al. But yeah.
Yeah, that would be bad. You don't want to do that. But just letting you know. Yeah, you don't.
I'm not trying to incite violence.
Yeah, that would be a bad time. You don't want to do that.
It would be like trying to get information out of somebody by breaking shot glasses at a bar or something.
Yeah.
It's a callback. Anyways.
Yeah, I don't. So the government has sort of done a pretty good job, like even with Mason's reforms, like they've done a pretty good job of like downplaying just how bad the situation is. Like it's enough that people are aware, like, oh, the government needs money to like rearm and like mobilize a proper defense. Because like officially speaking, Wayfar doesn't have much of a standing military force. They haven't had one since the last battle with the Blade Cult.
Yeah.
So if you go from what is claimed to be like a police force to a proper military force, like any amount of incursion is bad. You don't need to tell people how bad the incursion is for them to believe that you need the money. So like,
Right.
They just assume that it's a thing. They haven't really thought about it. So the general consensus is like, whatever. It's just, it's a thing. People aren't really too concerned. That said, the owner of the bar does overhear you have this conversation, and they chime in.
No.
They're not super happy with Mason. He's basically doubled the taxes that he has to pay. He doesn't think that it's necessary, and he thinks that Mason is just hoarding money for something. The bar owner doesn't think that there's an issue. He thinks that the taxation's too high. He's not giving a good enough reason. The non.
I don't know that this is realistic. Are you saying that people around there saying that something crisis that is happening in the country isn't happening? I don't know that people would do that.
Yeah, that's kind of far out there.
So, like, the bar owner's
That's some thick sarcasm.
The bar owner's not super happy. It does kind of start a bit of a disagreement between the patrons, who are like, "Oh, it's not that bad," because they're not getting extra taxes. The bar owner's like, "Well, you're not a business owner. You don't have to deal with this." And there's sort of a disagreement on like what is the acceptable severity for the amount that they're being taxed. Bar does let slip that the taxation, like the order for the tax, is not a temporary measure. It is an instituted just replacement tax. Like this is just the new tax going forward. Like this
not a wartime tax, just as a permanent thing.
This is just the new tax for business is this. Which a lot of people weren't aware of. Like they thought it was just like, oh, you're temporarily being asked to pay X. Like, no, this is just what the tax is, period.
Hearing this, Al's gonna... Oh, sorry, go on. You have more?
Yeah. So it does kind of start a bit of a disagreement. I'm assuming you don't get involved in like providing extra information about like how bad it is. But the consensus is basically the sky would have to be falling for them to agree that the taxation is worth it.
Who does he use that phrase?
To some extent, yeah.
Okay. Al doesn't usually like to insert himself into these things because he knows he can just walk away and let the discourse be discourse. But this kind of frustrates him because him and his team and hundreds, probably thousands of other people at this point, definitely thousands, have been involved in this and have been sacrificing life and limb just to keep the sky from not falling pretty much. So Al's gonna lean in to the bartender, and he's just gonna... How tall is the bartender compared to Al? Is the bartender a large person, a small person?
Average height, so he's like a little bit under 6 foot.
Okay, so Al's got a couple of inches on him. So Al's gonna kind of lean in across the bar, put his elbows on the bar, drink in one hand, you know.
Is Hawker still standing at the bar at this?
That's a good question.
Yes. He's probably still drinks because Al distracted the bartender.
Yeah.
Hawker's just like, damn it.
I mean,
I wanted to get away from
the
that.
bartender is still working, but he is definitely distracted.
Like, he went from avoiding it, the stuff in the hangar, now he's like, should I have come to this bar?
Definitely not.
No, he's listening. He's not chiming in yet because he's kind of watching Al's reactions and kind of surreptitiously listening in to what people are saying. He's not chiming in yet, though.
Gotcha. So I was just gonna kind of lean in and go, so I just want to get maybe a little more background on this. They're taxing you permanently, basically double, right?
Yeah.
Are you at this point like financially unstable because of it?
He kind of considers what you're saying. He goes, it's gonna make things real tight.
Al nods and goes, well, let me ask you this. If the sky was falling and you weren't paying these taxes, let's say the sky was literally falling, maybe not, pieces of the actual sky, but let's say that there was some kind of threat that got planet side. And at that point, you're basically dead. Would you have looked back and thought to yourself, maybe I should have shouldered a burden to help out the entire planet at some point? Because things are going to get tight, but you're not going to be destitute, right? And I mean, I'm just guessing that because taxes haven't been raised on those who don't make as much or those who don't own businesses, you're still getting the same amount of business, probably more, right?
Kind of looks at you, considers what you're saying, and he goes, they're either charging me way too much because they need it and not telling me, or they're charging me way too much because they just want the money. Either way, there's a problem.
Al considers this, looks off to the side, takes a sip, looks back at the bartender and goes, is there a better version of what's happening in your head? Like, of those two options, would either of them make it worth it? If you knew that there was something happening, if you knew that there was something that was just so horrifying that they couldn't tell you what was going on, because that would incite planet-wide panic, and that they'd rather just have you pay more and keep everyone safe.
The bartender kind of looks at you, and it should be noted that this is like an older gentleman. And he kind of like...
And Al looks nothing like a government agent, so there should be no suspicion that Al knows more than what he's saying.
So the guy puts down the glass that he has in his hand.
Poor Hawker has to wait longer.
Yeah, so Harker has to wait longer. And he kind of looks Al like right in the eye, and he kind of goes, last time there was a problem, they didn't tell us. and a lot of people died.
Out of character. This is what I was trying. This is the reaction I wanted. Anyways, go on.
And he goes, neither version is good, and neither version is better.
Al just stands back up, straightens himself out, downs the rest of his drink, smiles, and goes, I like you. And Al just looks at him and goes, you're right, it is bullshit. But at the end of the day, I'm going to buy more drinks from you anyways now, because that's the way things are. Let me get a couple for the people I talked to again, and then two more for me. And Al's going to tip him generously and just kind of lean in as he's finalizing things and just go, what was, he's going to kind of like in the down list, like he's going to just ask, what exactly were you referring to, by the way? Mind you, this is after he's spent a bunch of money.
I mean, first of all, you put in a drink order. Like, you're just
Yeah.
like confidently, like, I'm gonna get this, this, and this, and here's your tip. And like while you're doing that, he just kind of looks at you, and then looks at Harker, and looks back at you and goes, "You have to wait."
Aw.
And goes back to filling out the initial bar order that like he got delayed in the first place.
Damn.
So Harker just, when he gets the drinks, kind of slowly slides one of them to Al anyway. Because it was for him. So he kind of just like slowly slides it over and then walks to get Kat her drink.
Kat kind of glances up at Harker when he walks over and she's like, what's going on over there?
Harker shrugs and just says politics.
She's like, about the new taxes? Because she just finished reading all of her information.
Harker pauses and gives her a suspicious look, like she might be also about to launch into a very long discussion. And then just nods.
She kind of gives him a look like, you realize I'm wanted by the law, right? Like, just sort of just like, you expect me to go into huge political rants about politicians who want to lock me up? I don't know what you expect from this.
He slides her drink. And plops down and then asks, so what's the news? And he kind of indicates her device.
I did want to ask, has the blah blah blah. Okay. Have the Nav figured out any more about like if there's been more attacks by that big ugly weapon?
So no, because if you recall, because there's only the one, they can really only use it defensively.
Okay, that's what I was just making sure was that they were actually successful at that, and like whole villages haven't been disappearing.
Right, because they're currently more concerned using it to protect their defensive line than they are using it offensively.
Okay. So Kat would kind of glance at Harker and be basically like, well, because of the corruption, the old planetary governor got kicked out. This new guy's in charge. He seems to be kind of pro the normal person, but he's apparently taxing businesses pretty hard. And he's also regulated our bosses to, instead of being independent contractors, they're actually part of officially the military and they don't get as much money.
Harker can't quite hide the smirk. A little bit of a smirk at that. But he says, so what's your feeling on the new guy?
She kind of considers and goes, right now I think he's making the correct steps. but people need to be aware of what is going on, and they need to be prepared to be able to step in later if he starts making the wrong steps.
Hacker nods and says, he seems on the up and up.
Kat kind of pauses and she goes, "He's a politician."
Hacker grins and just says, fair.
She's like, "As far as I can tell, there's no direct dirt that we can get on him right now, so he's at least better than... He's either better at keeping his secrets or he's better morally than some others." She's like, "But I never trust that people are going to remain that way."
Hacker nods. He kind of looks over to see if Al is still trying to engage the bartender in a long discussion.
Al has quickly drank his drink that Harker handed him out of embarrassment because you realize that he can't carry 3 drinks at the same time. And it's just kind of pushed it over and is now semi-buzzed, but still okay. Well, he's only had 2 drinks. He's like getting there, getting buzzed, but not quite there yet. And he's just kind of waiting patiently for drinks because he realized that he basically just destroyed the bartender with work for like 8 people's drinks. But yeah.
So yeah, the bartender's finishing up Al's order. Al, you had to ask him about what now?
About what specifically he was referring to when he said that there was something else that the government didn't tell us about and a lot of people got hurt. Basically, he wants to know more about that.
So yeah, he was specifically referencing that the last time the Blade Cult, like, started a war on the planet, basically, the government also pretended that, like, there wasn't a problem until it got, like, way too big to handle. They're,
Gotcha.
like,
Okay.
kind of doing the same thing as what they did last time.
Are there
So
like...
Sorry, go on.
Oh, sorry. I was just wondering if there are like future versions of TVs in the bar, or
Oh yeah,
like people gather up to like watch sports.
Yeah.
Okay, you can go on now.
All right. So, I lost my train of thought. Hold on. I'll get it back on the rails here in a second. So this would have been before. How far ago is this war? Basically, how long ago?
Well, remember that Kat's mentor was in it.
Right, but was that like before Al got to the planet? Because he was relatively fresh.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. All right.
It's when the 5 heroes.
Oh, right. The 5 heroes
died, and then
right.
they were faked it out, and they were. So yeah.
Okay. Yeah. We'll just mark it down to cryo sickness. Al forgot. So okay. So he kind of thinks about this, and he is going to, while he's waiting for the drink orders to be filled, he's just going to pop onto his tablet and see if there's any type of history that he can find about what kinds of changes happened in government around the same time as the last time this happened. If there's any kind of historical record for that, which I'd hope that there are at least like news articles and shit you can look back on.
So the official story is no. They did nothing wrong. They were caught off guard. It's sort of a sudden incursion.
Okay.
The official record is like the Blade Cultist sort of showed up one day with a large force, and it was very unexpected.
Okay.
Yeah.
They're like the Spanish Inquisition.
No one expects Blade
Cult. Effectively, one person got thrown under the bus for not doing a good enough job of keeping an eye on planetary traffic. So, like, some, like, low-level administrator basically got the shaft.
Do they have a name Is this somebody who's still around? Can I contact them?
Yeah.
I'm gonna make more work for you, damn it.
I mean, if you really want to contact the person that got like,
I don't imagine he would have stayed on Wayfar.
yeah, like
Probably not.
he's not still on the planet. The dude left.
I wouldn't stay on a planet that blamed me for like thousands of people dying. Like, come
Yeah,
on.
Yeah.
like I don't like if you really want, you can find him, I guess. But in terms of that, like
If they're not on planet, then screw it. I mean, whatever.
yeah, like the guy basically like was forced to resign in disgrace. Everyone on the planet basically hated him because he got blamed for everything. Like it was his fault. He didn't notice that the Blade Cult was moving traffic in arms onto the planet. You know, it was his oversight. Cost thousands of lives. Like they just dumped it all on this one dude. Like other than this one person getting the shaft, basically the planetary government just continued on business as usual.
Okay. I'm gonna see if I can do a little deeper digging. Wow, I can't speak. Deeper digging. I promise you, I am stone cold sober. Anyways, and he's just gonna see like if you can even see if there was any like laws put into place, stuff like that before, like just looking at like changes that happened that might spark something, in recognition, similar to what's happening now. He's going to try to
Like, are you
compare
looking
what's
for, like,
happening now.
tax increases or whatever?
Tax increases, any other type of executive actions that are similar to the things that are happening now. Basically like the tech version of what he would do in prison, because he would just look around and see if there were any changes that would indicate that like there was going to be a riot soon, or that a prison guard was going to have a bad day, you know? And I'm imagining I'm going to have to roll for this, yeah?
Yes.
Okay. I don't have a corresponding trigger for this, so I'm just going to roll 1d20.
Do you not have any like investigative type skills?
Survive, read a situation, word on the street, take control, stay cool, take someone out, charm, and zero G training.
Yeah, so no. No, you do not.
Yeah. Yep, he's good at asking like other people for stuff, but he's bad at doing self-study. Basically the exact opposite of me. Anyways, so that's a 12.
About I would say yeah, okay. You do find some digging. You're real bad at this, by the way.
Oh yeah.
Like Al don't know what he's doing.
I have no idea how to filter search results. I'm just scrolling through stuff, hoping
Well,
a
last
keyword
time
catches my
Cat
eye.
couldn't Google, so I don't.
Purely by accident. Purely by accident, notice that a couple of months before like Blade Cult like incursion got serious, the Lancers Guild had its funding tripled.
That's a big win, actually. I can't believe I found that by accident. I'll just tell that to Kat to spare her the pain of Googling and failing again.
Officially marketed as a plan to reclaim the wilderness of Wayfar. The plan was to hire new lancers that would go out and help deal with the wilderness and make the like surrounding terrain settleable again.
Huh.
Wow, that sounds like a bunch of bullshit.
Yeah, shit's still wild out there, judging by the number of worms that I've encountered. I'm gonna do a complimentary follow-up then on any of like main Lancer message boards that there are. I'm kind of out of practice with that because we've been corporate dogs for a while. But I'd like to kind of poke around and see if there have been any official announcements to that effect, basically, that there are initiatives for like more jobs or hiring on more
That's a good point.
Lancers
We
and
don't know what the
incentives.
Lancers are doing right now.
Yeah. I'm going on Lancer Reddit, basically.
I mean, that is a
Our
Reddit.
Lancer.
Yeah, but
Our
fictional
Lancer
Lancer
pilots.
Reddit.
Uh,
If our Lancer Pilots isn't a thing, I'm going to start it and mod it, and it's just going to be a Lancer Pilot roleplay. And actually, never mind, I have no time. Go on.
so you would like to find more? Would you like to know more?
I knew that was coming the second you said that. Do I need to roll again for this?
Yeah, because this is technically a different search.
That's
Do
better.
you know how to use the forum search?
That's how he was looking for jobs, so hopefully it's a little better. 16 this time.
So, no. The Lancers Guild has not seen an increase in budget or requests from the government. Actually, the opposite is true. In the last year, the number of missions being assigned to the Lancers Guild has decreased.
Oops.
However, you will recall at the very start of the campaign, the massive rise in jobs for the Lancers Guild. You will actually recall, as I explained, the Lancers Guild pretty much did everything that the planetary police didn't want to do, which was almost everything.
Mhm.
That has subsequently changed.
Aha. So there is a change. It's a noticeable change, but it's in the opposite direction.
Correct.
Holland doing it now?
So you don't know in terms of what the Lancers Guild can tell you, like, because he purely just went like he just like went to see what is available in the Lancers Guild if any like funding changes. Basically, the Lancers Guild has noticed a sharp decrease in missions. It used to be that the Lancers Guild would fill like individual requests and government requests. Pretty much all government requests have stopped in the last year.
So basically, you're saying there's like titles on the Lancer Reddit of like, has anyone else noticed? Because that's the trend on Reddit.
So
are there any messages that are in response to people looking for jobs that are not finding any,
So
where
here's
people
the
are
thing.
referring them to go somewhere else?
All right, so
Specifically like
the
a company.
Lancers
Sorry, go on.
Guild has not really batted an eye at this, because it's not like they haven't had work. They have less work, but it's not like it isn't still work, because like the people on the planet still have problems that need to be solved, so they're still contracting the Lancers Guild. It
Right.
used to be that like the government would put in contracts for things like your first mission, for example, was a government contract. Like you basically did police work for them. Stuff like that has stopped happening.
That's when it all started going wrong.
Pardon me. Interesting.
Don't forget that about a year ago was also when Holland took over as like subcontractors. So basically, no one batted an eye at it because the idea then would have been anything that would have normally gone to the Lancers Guild was pushed onto Holland.
Gotcha.
So it's not unusual, nor was it unexpected. Like, if you dig back far enough, like obviously people would have been upset about it at the time, but it's been so long that people have just gotten used to it as like the new norm.
Gotcha. So at this point then, I would go to holland.co.wf/jobs and see if there's a hiring push.
I mean, you don't have that access? You're not
Well,
an
I mean, the
administrator?
URL is probably incorrect. Well, like how are they reaching out to people and like saying, "Hey, we have available slots then?" Is it all just like recruitment,
Well, the way
like they're
Holland,
reaching out.
don't forget that Holland is like a multi-planetary intergalactic
Oh, right.
organization. So if they need personnel, they just shuffle personnel.
Onlymex.com.
Like they're not hiring, like it's not a thing where they're just like, I need 50,000 people. Let's hire 50,000 people from Wayfar. No, you're going to be like, there's 50,000 trained individuals on this planet who are free. Take them.
Yeah.
Like, they're not going to hire locally.
Gotcha. So they're getting better at hiding if they do need to make a big jump in personnel, because it's not directly visible like the last time this happened, where I could look back and see that there was, some sketchy job postings.
That is, as far as you can tell, correct.
But there is still a difference. It's just a difference that happened a while back technically, and B in the opposite direction technically.
Yes.
Okay. So, all right. I think that's everything that Al's brain can handle when it comes to searching the internet at this point.
The internet is vast, and Al's retention of data is not.
Hence why he is shuffling back with his 2 drinks very quickly to the table. And he's going to just kind of, slide into what I assume is a booth and go, all right, listen, I think that there's some weird stuff going on, but I want you guys to parse it because you all know how I am. I'm just going to tell you what I know and see what you think. And then he just kind of explains that whole thing, basically. What he found, what it looks like is possibly happening. In, hushed tones, obviously. It's still a loud bar, but, his voice can carry if he wants it to. So he's just kind of like, what do you guys think of all this?
Kat kind of just glances at Harker because he's the one who kind of like heard the first part of that conversation over there now.
Harker kind of looks between Al and Kat and then shrugs, says it sounds pretty typical for how these corporations work.
Al just kind of looks over Harker and Kat and is like, well, yeah, but I mean, do you think that there's stuff that maybe even we don't know? I know that we slowed down what was happening, but I don't know. It just seems weird to me.
Kat is kind of like looking through a tablet, and she's just like, I always assume there's a lot of stuff I don't know.
I mean, that's a good assumption to make, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, she's like, no, everyone's always hiding something.
Tucker agrees. He kind of just nods and says, there's usually something behind the curtain.
Al stares down into his drink and then just kind of sighs and goes, yeah, I guess. I mean, we know more than most, but there's always going to be something that we don't. I just hope that we can stop what's happening before the other shoe drops, like back when it, happened the last time. I wasn't here for that, Al says, knowing fully well he wasn't, but like, I don't want to be part of that. I don't want to have to experience a historical event.
Kat glances at him and just says, I don't think most people in historical events want to be part of the historical event.
Al just kind of nods and goes, yeah, well, I'd rather that any historical events I be a part of don't affect everybody around me, at least. I don't know. Sorry for bringing the mood down, everyone. I'm overthinking it.
Kat looks up at Harker and she's like, "Do you think that counts as a historical event if it doesn't affect everyone around you?"
Harker says, it depends on whose history you're talking about.
Al looks over at Harker and just goes, the stuff that we've done, a lot of it has not been publicly reported, at least not accurately. Like, I know that what we've done has made a difference. Whether it's for better or for worse, we're probably not going to know for a while. I just don't want to be part of a shit show.
Kat kind of gives a laugh and says, "The leader of the Blade cult knows his face," and like, kind of jabs her thumb at Harker.
Al looks at Harker and goes, "Good point," and then walks away, never to return.
It's like they're buddies now.
Harker, he kind of grins and just says, "It's a memorable face."
He invited me to his barbecue last week.
Al agrees with Harker and goes, "I couldn't get that thing out of my head if I tried, and trust me, I've tried." And he looks at Kat and just kind of winks, referencing hopefully the time that he ended up with only his boxers on in an alleyway.
So while you guys are all talking, all of you get interrupted by a comm message. And gonna take a quick break here. About 5-10 minutes.
Okay.
Because I think we're gonna do we'll cover that later, but we're gonna take a quick 5-minute break. We'll be back shortly after that, and we'll cover what happens on the comm message that you guys just got. So be back in 5 minutes, folks.
Roll commercial.
Kimchi's supposed to get to bed early, so.
Yep. Alrighty. Hawaiian pizza, yes or no?
That's
I'd argue that they're both good. I think that having both is on there. That both on there is the best, but
I prefer
People-
Canadian bacon.
ham?
Bacon is just too bacon.
Pineapple's not that acidic.
Not when it's cooked.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, you could use pork roll instead, but that would just cause trouble.
Better is chicken curry pizza with that sweet chili sauce.
Chicken curry pizza?
Yeah.
I need to have some of that. Nobody around here makes that.
If you have a let's see what it's called, mellow mushroom, it's sometimes one of their regional pizzas.
I have no idea what that is, so I'm guessing I don't have it.
They call it the tie-dye. You didn't like it? Oh, yeah, the name is pretty stupid, but it's the mellow mushroom. That's kind of I'll fall into that 70s hippie dippy stuff.
Come back to
Just pineapple on pizza.
Which is great, and we all know it.
Ew.
It's one of my favorites, but then I prefer like pizza without tomato sauce.
I had Hawaiian pizza for dinner tonight, so that's why I was asking what the opinion was. Because I love Hawaiian pizza, especially when done right.
So I was muted, but I love Hawaiian pizza.
I don't want to ever hear you criticize me on pizza again, John. I know, and that you're condoning pineapple on it. So I don't.
I mean, yeah. Otherwise, it's a flatbread or soup. Yeah. Chicago deep style. Or deep dish.
Figs are also good on pizza. Figs and honey.
Oh, that sounds amazing. A little bit of like maybe some feta on there as well.
Yeah, figs and honey. Like a creamy white sauce.
That conversation's over now.
Yeah, so we are back.
Romy walks into the bar with a slice of fig and honey pizza with white sauce.
I mean, if you really want to walk into the place of pizza, then yeah, I guess you can do that.
She also has her AI following behind her. She rigged up a little thing for her drone.
How would she even know what they were?
She didn't. She just went to the bar.
I mean, you did unfortunately show Romy where this bar is, so like Romy now knows where this bar is.
And she went and visited the dog already too.
It hasn't been that long.
She just went and petted it and ran off.
FaceTime the owner. Yeah, let me talk to your dog.
So anyway.
Okay, calm message.
Yeah. You have a request. You are being asked to go to Planetary Governor's Office. Alva Mason.
Well then. Al finishes his drinks.
Harker just kind of arches an eyebrow and finishes his own drink.
And Remy just goes, Alva who around some pizza in her mouth.
I mean, you may not know the name Alva Mason, but you do know the concept of a planetary governor.
I suppose she might know that.
There's no way around Romy coming, right? Because Romy also got the comm message.
Oh yeah, Romy was asked to come too.
Fuck.
Aw,
All right.
that was nice of him.
At the end of our messages, though, it's just a please remind Romy as well. Anyways. So Al just kind of finishes his drinks and stands up and goes, do we go now? Or do we want to slow roll this one?
Wait, do we want to what this one?
Slow roll. Like, just kind of, we'll get there when we get there, like that kind of thing.
Scenic route.
Did the request come from the government, or did it come like from Holland?
Oh, it is like a government request.
It's now going across the ticker at the bottom of one of the TVs in the bar.
All of our faces pop up. Get them to the governor!
Kat just kind of sighs and downs the rest of her drink because she just, she only had the one. And she just moves to walk out, like, just sort of just, like, she's not even, like, responding to questions. She's just very grumpy.
Harker, I'm assuming there's ways to leave a tip, which he would do.
Yeah.
And then he would follow Kat.
Al follows Kat and is at this point solidly buzzed. Not like drunk buzz, like in the lower end still, but he's like just kind of mellow, right? He's like, whatever, let's roll with it. Who cares? So this would be an interesting meeting.
Did the message say they needed to go like right away? Or then just like report now?
It is not super specific, right? Like it doesn't say at this moment. But it is definitely worded more as like a demand than a request.
Harker just kind of says, I guess we should see what he wants.
I'm assuming Romy is also just gonna tag along for the ride.
Yep, she's just chewing on her pizza. She's down to the crust now.
I mean, sure.
I figured it might be pertinent.
Sure.
It's not.
Sure. Yeah. But you guys make your way to the office. You do have to travel from where you are up to sort of like the fancy part of Wayfar, like the upper levels where like, all the rich people are. Of course, that's where the governor's office is. When you step off the station, you are actually greeted by what appears to be like government agents who introduced themselves as they were expecting you.
That's an odd name for an agent.
Deep
Yeah.
sigh.
Yes. And you are taken to the governor's office. They don't check you for weapons or anything. Like, they don't scan you, they don't do anything. They seem pretty confident. They escort you to the governor's office.
So they don't find my 2 garlic presses.
No.
Parker knew those would come in handy.
Yeah.
Always got 2 on me.
So, you meet Alva Mason, is like, he is not an unattractive man, but he's not like especially good looking. He's sort of just like, if you had met him on the street, you probably wouldn't ever remember him. He's dressed like very nicely, right? Like he's well put together, but there's nothing about this man that seems memorable or especially interesting. Like he would
That's the
blend,
most dangerous type.
he
was
would
gonna say.
blend into the crowd anywhere in Wayfar, and you probably wouldn't give him a second glance.
I feel like it's like Hawka and Kat are immediately more on edge.
But Alva Mason, you know, he offers you a, as far as you can tell, a genuine smile. Kind of approaches, and he extends his hand, just to, like, offer a handshake, and he's very cordial, just like, welcome to my office. So much as it can be my office. Wasn't elected after all. Nice to meet you.
Like, Kat is gonna casually nudge Hawka forward to shake his hand.
Before Harker can say anything, Al says, "Why are we here?"
And Romy plops into one of those wingback chairs because they look comfy.
Parker does step forward and shake the hands. Very
Like-
nobly.
Yeah, like Kat just figures if anyone knows how to shake hands properly in like a negotiation situation, whatever, it's Hawka. So he's
Seems like he's done this a lot.
Alva Mason offers you what would be described as a disappointing handshake.
Oh no.
It is not a confident handshake. He does a good effort of trying to do like the politician handshake, right? Like, takes your hand, he puts his other hand on top of your hand.
okay, but he doesn't pull Hawka toward him when he handshakes,
No,
right?
no. He
Okay,
does,
okay.
He does
So
what
would-
Probably.
Is he orange?
no, he does what you would like describe as like the political handshake. Like he makes an attempt to like shake your hand and put his hand over your hand and like try to be cordial. It is a disappointingly weak, unconfident handshake.
So Harker, being someone who has had to shake many hands,
Wow, that sounds like a euphemism.
Looks disgusted.
would he be able to tell if it was like his actual character that was kind of just unconfident, weak?
Wanting.
Or was it like sort of a ruse?
He seems uncomfortable shaking your hand. Like, you can tell he's trying to execute a practice motion. And he's just not good at it.
Romy has hand sanitizer if that's the issue.
Poor Harker. So Harker, in contrast, sort of like maybe a little on purpose, does a much better rendition of a proper handshake, um, and then ends it
Um,
on.
yeah, as you offer the handshake, he kind of does like an awkward chuckle and flashes a smile and goes, "Oh, that's a firm handshake you got there. That's good on you."
Parker just flashes a winning smile and steps back.
And he looks at Al and he goes, "You, I like you. To the point. Come, sit down. Anyone.
Oh man, Al had the "I like you" line thrown back at him.
Um, he kind of gestures. He goes, "These aren't my chairs. These are the predecessors. I don't care which one you take. I suppose. Sit wherever you'd like." Kind of gestures to Romy. He's like, "She's got the right idea."
Are there enough chairs for all of us? This office looks like it only has 2 wingbacks.
There's at
No,
least
wait.
4 wingbacks.
Never mind. There's chairs all over the place. Damn it.
I mean,
All
there's
right.
like a whole couch over there.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Romy just noticed the couch and she's like making a beeline for it.
Yeah. He's just like, "Yeah, make yourself comfortable. Don't mind the mess. I'm still trying to sort through everything that got left to me. Anders was a surprisingly organized man," he says as he kind of like walks over to like a stack of like diskettes and like reports and just kind of like shoves them aside out of his way as he sits at his desk.
Al remains standing.
Kat just casually says, but she's kind of eyeing him as she says it, and she does move to sit. She's like, most successfully corrupt people are.
He kind of chuckles and goes, "Yes, you're probably right about that."
Parker settles smoothly in one of the chairs. He seems to be in like full, I want to say like partway between politician and businessman. So some background. He wasn't usually the one who dealt with a lot of the business, so he's not as practiced as others in his family. But he's been through the same training they had and attended enough meetings and observed things that he can kind of perform well in that situation.
I mean, go back to Slice, just kind of gesturing at him judgingly and be like, "I don't get you."
He's hard to read.
Yeah, but Alpha Mason, he kind of just looks uncomfortable in his surroundings, like he doesn't fit in this office. Which, given that, it should be pointed out when you were asking about whether the planetary administration has changed, Lane Anders has been in office since before that previous incident. So this office is his
Oh,
office.
boy.
It was built for him. So like this is like Lane Anders' like home, effectively, what this office had become. So Alpha Mason 100% does not fit anything about this room.
Kat is kind of just like studying him, and she tilts her head and just says, "You know, you can change the office."
But not the couch.
He kind of nods and goes, "Yeah, you're right. I probably should. Don't really have the budget for it. Maybe one day, assuming I'm still in office when this is all done. But," he kind of gestures at it and goes, "You asked why you were here. Well, I just wanted to meet the people who have the better understanding of the situation that we're in."
Harker says, what situation would that be?
He kind of looks at you and he goes, "Well, you know what I mean. The Blade Cult situation."
That's when Kat kind of burst in and was like, "Has Holland basically told you nothing?"
He kind of looks at Kat and goes, "Well, I mean, you're Holland. So Holland will be telling me things.
She kind of does a cut off motion with her hand and goes, but Holland has not currently filled you in.
He kind of does like a waffly like yes no like motion. He's sort of like, well, they've sent the reports. You can imagine that. Well, you work for Holland, you understand. The reports are their reports.
Al leans over and puts his hands on the desk and gets up close to Alva and goes, "What are you fucking selling?"
God, we should not have let Al drink before this.
And he goes, and Al says in like a mocking tone, "You know what I mean."
Alpha kind of chuckles and goes, well, prior to this, funny you should say, I was actually trying to sell property rights in the expanse out on the planet. That was actually my job prior. So, I mean, if you're interested, there are some great land deals I can probably direct you to. But
Al cuts him off and throws a stack full of discs across the room and goes, "That's not what I fucking mean, and you know it. Why are you trying to go over their head?"
Kat cuts in with just like an ow, and she just sounds really like sharp.
Al stands up, crosses his arms, and backs away, but does not break eye contact with Alva.
Alva kind of looks at Al as he like gets up and he goes, I mean, if you're not interested, that's fine. But really, they're great offerings.
Like, does he?
Al just looks at Kat like, "This is your turn now."
Whatever says.
Does anyone want to roll a read a situation to see if he is being sincere on this?
Al's buzzed, but I'll give it a go.
Well, I was thinking like Parker has read a situation too, and is not
I think
buzzed.
Romy has it too.
Although I think I didn't train it because other people.
Actually, no, I don't. I have a 4 in investigate though.
I have a +4 in read a situation.
I only have a.
Okay, well then I guess like Al can like in his drunken buzz state analyze and realize whether this dude is being sincere or not.
He's not drunk. He just has less of a filter than he normally would.
Yes.
Yeah.
But like he can see whether this dude is being sincere or not.
Yeah.
So
that's a 15.
You can see that despite his aloof nature, like as he's speaking, Alva is definitely nervous, especially in response to like Al's physical outburst. You get the sense that he is purposely trying to diffuse the situation in a manner that he thinks is most efficient, which is basically try to play off what's going on casually.
So he's not really trying to be manipulative. He is just trying to be
not get punched by him.
Incompetent.
You can't tell if he is playing incompetent or if he's just trying to pacify Al by being funny.
Well,
yeah, Al's having none of that right now. Al has been hardened by interacting with Romy.
Like, you genuinely can't tell if Alva Mason is acting stupid or is stupid.
That's upsetting. Well, Al did the roll, so Al's just gonna kind of look at Kat and just kind of make a signal like, I don't know what this guy's deal is. He seems like a fucking idiot. Like he's just gonna his arms are gonna be shrugged, but he's just gonna look at Kat and like, he's gonna shrug. His arms across. He's gonna shrug and he's just tilt head, look at her, distort his mouth a little bit, go, I have no clue.
Kat's kind of gonna give like a sigh and just be like, sorry, we were out, just relaxing and having a few drinks before.
We
As an
came in and
explanation.
trashed your office.
Alvin nods. Like, oh, it's understandable. I appreciate that you came here on such short notice. You didn't have to. I know it's getting late. Still, I appreciate that you came. To address your companion's question, I suppose. Yeah, I'd like a better idea of what they're not telling me.
And Kat just nods at that. She goes, Holland likes to hold their cards close to their chest.
Alvin nods and goes, well, my understanding is that while you are Holland, you used to work for the Lancers Guild, so maybe you'd be a little bit more willing to share with me.
She pauses and tilts her head again, and is just like, "Are you trying to bribe us?"
He kind of looks at you and goes, well, if I had anything to pay you with, I suppose that could be arranged, but like I said, don't really have the budget for it, so would you be willing to just share for free?
At that, Kat actually laughs, and then she kind of just goes like, "It's rare to have a politician just admit that they don't have the money."
At this point, Al just gives up and goes and sits on the couch.
He's just sitting on the couch next to Romy.
As far away from Romy as... Well, there's a big couch. Can you move your feet?
She'll put them in your lap.
Al is fine with this. He's just like, whatever, goofy couch.
It's like, I'd rather be with the idiot I know than the idiot I don't.
Exactly. But he's still looking at him. Just from across the room. Well, in the corner of the room.
Can Remy sneak up those stairs and see what's at the top of the stairs?
All right, contested roll. You put your ankles within arm's reach.
Oh,
I mean, Romy, do you want to get up and go see what's up the stairs?
Yeah, she's kind of been staring up there the whole time.
I mean, like, you remember this belonged to the previous governor. For all we know, this dead body's up there.
Well, that would be interesting.
All
So,
I
yeah.
was gonna do in this situation is just like kind of like grab her ankle and just kind of look at her and just shake his head and be like, no. When she tries to get up. Because he saw her looking at those stairs.
I saw that twinkle in her eyes. And she's
Plus,
gonna
like, her
try to
getting up
wiggle
at this
free, I
point
guess.
to go anywhere is not a good idea. So,
Yeah, well,
But yeah, in response to your comment about his honesty about the bribery thing, he kind of goes, well, I mean, I guess I'm a politician, but I don't consider that to be my title. I'm a simple man. I just help out where I can and do my best.
while he's droning on, I think Rumi and Al are kind of just struggling silently.
Al just giving increasingly like brazen looks at her, like, come on, don't.
He does kind of pause and looks to the couch and he's like,
And we both just freeze.
are they going to be okay?
No, Al says, without hesitation.
Rumi does insinuate where her foot is with a little bit of pressure. As Al tries to hold her down.
Trying to imagine what exactly is she doing. Are you kicking him in the balls? Is that what's happening?
I think she insinuated that she could with pressure to that area.
She is threatening him with that. Yes, I believe that is what the implication is.
Al just looks up
again,
and
prison planet. I don't.
And then she yells, slap fight, and she jumps up in
Al
room
just releases
17.
her. No, oh jeez. Al doesn't even at that point. He puts his hands up and he's just like, whatever. I don't care at this point.
Okay,
Let's just.
now she wants to investigate up the stairs, and that sucked.
I mean, I don't know what you need a roll for. You just walk up the stairs. Like,
Oh,
you
well, this is
you
engineering all over again.
you don't need to roll an investigation to walk up a
I
flight
know.
of stairs.
Clearly, she didn't walk up the stairs. Clearly, she tried and she fell.
Romy attempts to get up the stairs via the duct system behind the couch.
Like, oh, you walk up the stairs into basically what is just another fancy room. It looks
So
like
there's stuff.
it looks like just
What did I get?
You are stealing, like, right above the governor.
It's not his stuff. He just said so.
It's the government stuff.
Al is happily not giving a shit about whatever is happening up those stairs.
Kat just pauses and goes, "Look, if you need to lock her up for a couple nights, it's fine."
She didn't
Kinda.
blow anything up yet.
he just kind of shakes his head. It's like, I'm sure security will take care of whatever happens. There's cameras up there. It's fine.
Kat pauses and goes, "Would you be willing to lock her up if we gave you information?"
Al lays down on the couch.
He kind of
Hey.
looks confused. Like, you want me to lock your companion up?
Kat leans forward and goes, "Think of the most annoying person you've ever worked with."
He kind of shakes his, kind of nods. And he goes, "Ah, yes, odd."
And you just hear Romy yell, "I heard that."
There's a real opportunity to name that person Mike. You blew it.
So Romy runs down the stairs, jumps up on the banister, launches off of it, and lands on Al for taking her spot.
Kind of just, Alva just kind of looks really confused, but just kind of just like, Todd. And turns his attention back to the cat, and it's just like, as I was saying, well,
Kat just goes, "What do you want to know?"
he kind of like raises like a hand and just like one moment as like his other hand just like starts rummaging through the pile of like data logs that he had like pushed aside. And he just like pulls one out and like slots it in the desk, and it pulls up a report of like basically Holland's analysis of the Blade Cult situation. The station is there. The important locations of like Blade Cult territory and activity are there. You are aware that your information is about 6 months out of date. You will notice that their territory has expanded rather significantly in the last 6 months. He kind of goes, well, this is the data that we have, and he kind of pulls up some more data, and like there's numbers of like estimated force, estimated threat. You do notice that Holland is grossly underestimating both the number of Blade Cult forces and the rate of expansion to the governor by a lot. It's a margin of at least 30% inaccurate.
Okay.
And you know that can't be accurate numbers because like the force estimate is smaller than it was 6 months ago when you sort of saw like sort of like the leaked information that you were given by Barnett.
Mm-hmm.
So like there's no way that force estimate is even close to accurate.
Kat kind of leans forward as she looks and she goes, Do you have reason to suspect that Holland is not telling you the truth about the troop numbers?
He kind of like does again that yes no acknowledgement. Like he won't commit to a yes or a no. He's kind of like yeah. And he goes, well, they're asking for a lot in their budget, and certainly, as I said, we don't have much budget to spend. I would like to know what the real situation is before I commit to reallocating funds or not.
Cat kind of sighs and leans back in a chair and then goes, I can't tell you where the money would go, but I can tell you they are not giving you accurate reports in the fact that the problem is much, much worse than they are reporting to you.
He kind of goes, he's just kind of like, oh, and you kind of see him ponder what's being said, and he goes, okay, well, between you and me, would we be better off without Holland?
Cat hesitates and she goes, again, I don't know what Holland's long-term plans are. Let me begin by stating that I consider myself a member of this planet. I consider this my home. This planet has my loyalties most. But I think if you try to not depend on Holland, the Blade Cult is going to just flat out win.
Alpha kind of contemplates what you're saying. Kind of goes, well, it sounds like no matter what I choose, it's a bad call.
Cat just goes to welcome to my life.
He kind of shrugs and he goes, okay, well, thank you for that answer, I suppose. Is there anything that they're not telling me in this report that you think I need to know?
Is the weapon on there?
The weapon is on there.
Okay.
I mean, it's hard to not add like a
Yeah, I
giant
don't.
planetary
But I didn't know
station.
Holland was somehow managing to keep that hush, which would be more disturbing. Cat sort of states bluntly, you know Holland and the way Holland functions on any other planet. You can guess what they're going to try to do here eventually. That's not a mystery. But what we do know is that the leader of the Blade Cult is currently on this planet. As he was the last time it all went down. They do really want this planet for the sake of the Blade Cult really wants this planet for the sake of expansion. And they have the heroes, the so-called heroes of the the Cross? Manning's Cross? Yeah.
Yep.
Heroes of the Cross.
Cross.
Actually on their side. They did not die in the previous battle.
Alva kind of nods and goes, huh. I'm gonna have to look that up. I'm not from this planet.
She's like, okay, well, they were kind of big deals.
He's an alien.
I mean, you're also not from this planet, so you're also.
Oh yeah. Damn it.
Yeah, like, I mean, Kat wasn't even technically born on the planet, but she does just say she's from the planet because she came here early enough. So it's just like.
Parker just kind of says, "How did you get this job?"
Well, of looks at you and goes, well, like I said, prior to this, I was actually, selling land. As part of a different agency. He kind of
That answers that, I guess.
he kind of laughs awkwardly and goes, "Yeah, they put a lot of people in jail."
Parker just kind of glances at Cat on that one.
Cat just looks innocent. Like, what? And then she goes, they were people who deserve to be in jail.
Alvin nods. Goes, yeah, probably. Yeah, like I said, I don't know quite what you're talking about. It sounds real bad. Gonna have to look into that. But sounds like it's way worse than I'm being told, and that's not good.
And Kat just kind of nods because she doesn't really know what to say to that. She doesn't know why Holland is downplaying it.
He kind of thinks it over and goes, well, what do you think should be done?
She kind of just goes, in what sense?
Parker says immediately, all effort should be made to destroy that weapon and keep another one from being created.
Alva kind of nods. And, well, military things aren't really my specialty. I have an advisor for that, but I'll consider running it by him.
Pauses, and then he says, "Who's your advisor?"
Kind of pauses and goes, hold on, let me. Kind of goes.
Oh gosh.
Kind of like rummages through his things and pulls out another data sheet and kind of like slots it in. There's a big list of names, and there's a lot of names crossed off, and a lot of people with like new names is like interim next to them. There's military defense leader. Oh wait, no, he got arrested.
They destabilized the government accidentally.
Like Davidson, Lieutenant Davidson, my advisor.
Parker says, "And was he also a salesman?"
He kind of looks. And he goes, according to this, Davidson was.
He was like a foot soldier before all this.
He's like, Davidson, 2 years service, border patrol.
Oh god.
Parker pauses again. And then he says, "Is there any way that we could also meet with him?"
Sure, I can call him up if you like. Want to talk to him now?
Parker puts on a smile and says, "I'd be interested to hear his winning strategy."
Kind of nods and goes, "Sure, give me a moment," and type of thing. A couple moments later, there's like a hollow call comes up and it rings, and you see a rather young lad, probably in his like 20s, he kind of picks up like the call and he's just like, yes, sir. No, Alpha kind of introduces everybody and kind of gets Davidson apprised of like what's going on, and does point out that like you have suggested that Wayfar focus its efforts on dealing with the station. And Lieutenant Davidson kind of nods. He's like, "Oh, well, like I said, I am just the acting advisor. I'm more of a go-between, sir. I would have to confer with the acting military defense task force." Kind of pauses. He goes, currently the head of the task force is off planet. May be able to establish emergency communications if we need. Mr. Barnett.
I knew it.
Yep.
Al pipes up and goes, I know that guy.
Cat just says, "You know what? It's okay. It's okay. We're good." Nice to meet you, Lieutenant Davidson.
Likewise, ma'am.
Bye, Lieutenant Dan.
It's Davidson, sir.
Yeah, whatever.
And
That exchange literally does happen. I'm so sorry.
and Alpha just like politely, just like, thanks for your time. Bye. Call and goes, I take it that wasn't the answer you were looking for?
Cat looks at him and goes, "Barnett is our direct boss."
Oh, well, that's good then. You know him. Maybe you could.
He's incredibly loyal to Holland.
Oh. Okay then.
So at this point, Cat leans forward and just like looks serious and goes, "Look, what your priority right now as interim governor and potential future governor is to protect the people and to try to minimize loss as much as possible in this scenario. What you need to do is make sure that there's extra protection around cloning facilities, because one of the main goals they attacked last time was the Lancers Guild facilities. You need to create diplomacy with the Lancer Guild to make sure that they are on your side, because as we said, the heroes that supposedly died last time were Lancer pilots, and they may still have connections within the Lancer Guild that they could try to manipulate."
Alva kind of nods. Okay.
She
Like-
pauses.
He's like,
What?
well, all I know is that above all else, I want to make sure that the people of Wayfar are well taken care of. Maybe not by me. I don't know how long I'll be in office, but I'll do whatever I can to make sure they're safe, or as safe as I can make them. And every decision I make will be in that best interest.
Cat looks at him and nods and goes, "That's about all any of us can do right now. What we can say is that Barnett does not have malevolent goals in mind as far as we're aware. He doesn't intend harm on the people of the planet. So whether or not you consider Holland problematic, that's completely up to a lot of debates. But Barnett does want to take the Blade Cult down. And that's the first step right now."
Alva nods. You're not a big fan of Holland.
She kind of pauses and goes, "They're a corporation." As if that's enough of an answer.
Kind of nod. Okay. And what's your thoughts on the Blade Cult?
They're a fanatical group of murderous rabid dogs.
Kind of nods and goes, "Yeah, that's what I've told."
She's like, "No, it's completely true. All they care about is fighting, and they don't care about how many people they kill. If they die in combat, even if they aren't necessarily assured to be cloned, it doesn't matter because dying in combat is their main goal." The upper part of the Blade Cult is actually quite sensible and are basically, your average mercenary group. But no matter how sensible a leader is, they cannot control rabid dogs.
Kind of nod. Doesn't sound like it's much better than what you think Holland then.
She pauses and goes, "Well, corporations always do what is better for their finances, not for their zealotry."
Alva kind of contemplates what you said. Well, take everything said into consideration. Thanks for your time, being open about what you thought. I've got a lot to think about.
Kat just nods and she moves to stand and doesn't even know what's going on over the couch. And she's like, "The Blade Cult does not need anyone on this planet alive. That's the bottom line." And she kind of just goes, "And you can't reason with people who do not need anyone alive."
Alva nods. Makes sense. How would you feel about making meetings like this a more regular thing?
Ermi just goes, ugh.
Kat goes like, "And you won't have to come."
I'm coming.
Kat kind of glances at Al and Harker to see what they're.
At this point, Al is just dealing with his current situation of being sat on, basically. Because he's not moving. He's not giving up any purchase on the couch. But he just looks at Alva, the person in charge, and just says, "Well, it's up to the flight commander, but I'm with it."
I don't think anyone had used her title here.
No.
Damn it.
Now he knows.
Tucker almost did, and then he thought,
Yeah,
This
then
will
he
be
thought
fun.
better of it.
So every week there's going to be a contested roll between Al and Romy racing to the couch.
I mean, okay.
Hacker seems to be thinking about it, but then he just looks at Kat and kind of gives a short nod.
So Kat, like, very visibly winces when Al says flight commander. And she kind of gives him a dark look.
Harker looks impressed at his bravery.
No filter
Especially
Al
when-
just kind of grins.
Especially when he's trapped under Romy. I feel like this is just dangerous ground
Like,
for
yeah,
Al.
now he can't get away.
I feel like he could launch her into the air if he really wanted to. Well,
Oh,
maybe.
there's a contingency plan for any shenanigans. Definitely. Al's care cup has just emptied, basically. At this point. And he's actually, in the back of his mind, he's kind of excited about a little espionage.
And so Kat just kind of like looks exasperated, but then looks back at Alva and just like, we can, as long as we don't start getting heat from Barnett for it. So he normally is pretty free with what we do as long as we don't screw him up. But I don't feel like being accidentally killed in an incident at work and somehow the cloning screws up.
Basically, Al says, piping in, you don't fuck us, we don't fuck you. And we were never here.
We would never hear.
And this sofa's gonna blow up when we leave.
Kat looks over and is just like, the security cameras.
I didn't see an explosion roll.
Oh, I got him. If I can find him.
Alva's a
No.
little taken aback by the like deluge of like semi threats, and he's like, "But I mean, there's cameras, and also you come inside and just
Kat goes, look, just let him have the fantasy.
I can have my AI disable the cameras.
I mean, technically, Kat could probably hack in and disable the cameras, but that's not the point. Let Al feel the fantasy, okay?
Out of character here, there's two options. Either we were never here, somehow, or we have to run this by Barnett.
Oh man,
Right, because
obviously
he's
we have to
gonna
run this by
find
Barnett.
out.
Yeah, no, obviously. Like
Yeah.
that is why Kat has not tried to keep a secret from Barnett since the very start of this damn thing. Okay.
Yeah.
Like everyone's always like, why is Kat always emailing Barnett? It's because he can't accuse her of keeping freaking secrets about stuff.
Oh yeah. It's better they hear it from you than from somebody else.
She's just like, yeah, no, this all went fucking wrong, but whatever.
But yeah, Alva kind of sort of nods again. His sort of nod committed.
Kat just gives a casual laugh, and it's just like, but really, it'd be better like if you don't like talk about meeting with us. Obviously, there's official records and stuff like that, but we tend to work better off the books.
He kind of nods. He's like, oh, well, I mean, I guess that's fine if that's what you prefer. Kind of pauses and looks down. He's like, oh, you flight commander? Is that your title?
Absolutely, Al says.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean,
Show her proper respect.
he's like,
Harker grins and says she's the best one I've met.
That was my best short round impression without doing the actual quote.
He's like, well, I mean, I suppose if you prefer that, I mean, it would have been nice if people as famous as you, like you're in the news now and all that.
She actually wait, what?
Oh yeah, you guys have been in the news, sort of indirectly. Like,
did they miss it while they were
we
in the
knew
bar?
about like the indirect stuff that was just like some Lancer pilots, but
yeah, but like he has access to like the reports.
Right, but like it's not the news. It's just in his reports, right? Like,
Well, you guys have not thus been named directly in the
Oh,
news
well, that's
reports, but
boring.
like, as far as he's concerned, like, he knows it's you,
right,
and he's just
and
like,
yeah. Well, Kat's going like she's like, yeah, but the average person doesn't know it's us, so we can't give you a visual stability
Like-
boost by us being present. So it's better if like people just don't really know what we're doing right now.
he
We
looks
need
a
to
little
start going by
saddened.
our.
Like, he looks a little deflated, a little sad. He's like, oh, well, okay. I suppose.
Kat
Yeah,
like
you
Kat's
can
like,
have my
look,
autograph if you want it, if it makes you feel better.
Kat's just like, look, if there's a point when we are publicly known and it will help the people of the planet for us to be known, that we'll be willing to step forward then. But for until then, it's better for us not. And then she pauses and goes, also, the leader of the Blade Cult wants to kill us directly. So it's better for you if our names aren't thrown around too.
We need to start using our call signs so nobody knows our names.
I don't really think they know each other's call signs.
Everybody knows Toucan.
I mean,
Do they?
technically, your call signs would be used as like your computer IFF. So like, you should know each other's call signs.
Because they've never used them around each other.
Like, your code names would be part of like your IFF identifier. So like, at the very least, you would recognize them like on the systems as like what your mechs are referred to as. Like, that doesn't necessarily mean that like you're using that like in conversation.
Mm.
But no, so like Alva's like, oh, yeah, I'd rather not be dead.
And then like she just looks at him and cuts him off at that and just like, welcome to my life.
Yeah, I can see where that's bad. But Alva nods and goes, well, you know, it sounded nice, but whatever you think is best. Kind of extends his hand and goes, but you know, I don't hold you up from whatever you were
I
celebrating.
don't want to keep you in my office when you just said the Blade Cult leader wants you dead.
Like, I don't know what you were celebrating or whatever, but thank you for coming. You didn't have to, so thanks.
Kat just lightly shrugs and goes like, we just got out of cryo from being in Blade Cult space. So
And we had a really successful mission that ended with a bang.
Wow, it's like you want Kat to like stab you.
you're going to make me push this negotiating to get Wilmy locked up if you keep up.
But yeah.
It's at the point where Al senses that the meeting is ending soon that he just kind of like nudges Romy off of him and stands up and like straightens his shirt. I have no clue what he's wearing at this point. He's usually a tank top guy, but
Well, if you're carrying around a pin, you probably have a pocket protector.
oh, cargo pants. Obviously. Are cargo pants still in on Wayfar?
I mean, if you want to wear them, you can wear them. It just, you are on like kind of a like wasteland desert planet, so like I don't know if that's the best choice of pants, but sure.
I mean, I don't know what a better choice of pants would be.
I mean,
Listen, it's a wasteland desert planet, which means it gets cold at night and it's hot during the day,
Chinos.
right?
You should be wearing chinos.
It's hot
Like-
during the day and cold during the night. Hold on, I'm leading up to something. Hot during the day, cold during the night. Yeah, can we confirm that?
yeah.
Yeah. So they're the cargo pants
Hold on.
with the zip
I
off.
want to confirm it with my AI. Romy, ask
I don't
your
know.
AI what the weather is.
I'm not even know why I'm waiting for this. Yeah, he's wearing the cargo pants. He's wearing the cargo pants that you can zip off the lower half of. You know, the kind that were really popular in like The early
Oh,
2000s.
God.
Oh God.
So the version of the pants that are even more impractical on a sandy desert wasteland where sand gets everywhere.
Is it zip or is it Velcro so you can do that?
I mean, like I have to admit, Anna, like I don't know that any of Cat's outfits are really meant for practicality either. So
It's the far future, so it's neither zip nor Velcro. Also, have you ever tried to use anything with Velcro on a beach? The Velcro becomes unusable within 5 seconds.
Or are they like magnetic so you can just reverse the polarity on the magnets and they fly off of you?
Do you remember the jacket that Marty McFly wears in Back to the Future Part 2,
The
where it like
really
adjusts?
impossibly impractical
Yeah.
vacuum
Yeah.
jacket. Yeah,
It's that. Yeah, that's what he has. Like, so when the temperature hits a certain level, his shorts like start retracting like an automatic sunblind.
Hopefully nothing gets caught in the blinds.
Oh no, it's all aboard. Anyways,
Thanks, I hate it.
sorry, I didn't mean to tangent. Go ahead.
Thanks, I hate it.
You're welcome.
Remy needs to describe her pants now. Hold on. I need to think of something.
no,
We have 15 minutes.
let's go.
I'm already gonna take flack for this, so
My pants are all just little drones.
Ew.
horrifying.
Hawker, save us from this conversation.
I don't know if there's any saving from this conversation point.
We all know Hawker dresses well. That's a gimme.
Yeah, that's not gonna save you from this conversation.
Yeah, I don't need to describe it.
Like,
As well.
look, Hawker's dress is sexy. Okay, put together and sexy.
Meanwhile, this conversation is happening while Alva's like standing there with like his hand extended, like thanking you for coming. Just like
So Cat actually reaches forward and takes his hand this time instead of like making Hawker do it.
Oh, Harker was gonna test him again.
his handshake
Right?
has
He
not
still
improved.
can. Like,
He has not learned.
so is part of this like meetings? Are they going to be like Hawker's lessons on handshakes? Like, okay, no. Wait, try that again.
I mean, if you want them to be, like, I guess, like, if that's the thing you
We're
would
gonna have
like.
lessons on handshakes going on while Romy and Al are fighting over a couch and whatever Cat's doing in the background. That should be fun.
Lessons on how to be a better politician.
Well, we don't want him to be a good politician because that's an oxymoron.
You didn't say good. I said better.
Harker definitely avoided everything politics. So yeah.
But we just want to teach him how to shake a damn hand. That it's. So if he goes back into sales after this whole little stint, he'll actually know how to do it.
It's a good point. How did this motherfucker sell anything?
He didn't say he successfully sold anything.
People felt sorry
If
for
you
him.
recall, he said he was in charge of selling land on Wayfar. Notice how very little land has been sold and purchased in Wayfar.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you have any desert plots for sale?
Hey, listen, he's got sandy beachfront property everywhere.
Everywhere's a beach if you have a hose.
It'll be more like warm barren property.
But yeah, he shakes your hand, thanks you for coming. You are free to go.
Can we all
should
just
be
stand here awkwardly?
It should be noted that Al's gonna shake his hand last. For a reason. So if anyone has anything they want to do first, go for it.
Romy goes upstairs again.
Gesundheit.
Thanks.
So Rummy goes upstairs. It's a fancy extra room. It looks like it was probably used as like an extra meeting area. Very finely and
giant pizza
lavishly
around the corner.
decorated.
Does it have these weird, like, These like stuffed animal nets hanging from the ceiling like this one.
Yeah. It looks like it would actually be like a nice like meeting hall for like proper business to be conducted, as opposed to the office that you are currently in. He probably should have
Well,
had
she's
you
not
up
currently
there.
in it. Yeah, Remy says that. Why aren't we up here? She gets ignored.
I mean, you're saying that.
Because we're leaving, Al says.
She comes back downstairs.
And Alpha kind of looks at Romy. He's like, "Oh, well, I mean, that felt so stuffy. I didn't think anyone would have preferred that."
And Cat pauses and goes, "For us, that was a good call, but if it's someone you want to intimidate at all, take the upper room."
Like, oh,
Use PowerPoint.
well, why would I want to intimidate you?
Not us.
Cat just kind of stares at him and goes like, "Because you don't have to make threats to people to make them think that you mean business."
Kind of nods and goes, "Yeah, that makes sense."
She's like, she's mentally just going, "Yeah, you never even sold like an inch of land, did you? Did you even convince yourself to buy land? I don't think you did."
He actually bought land instead of selling it. He bought more than he sold.
Okay.
I mean,
Is Al
probably
gonna
at this
shake
point.
his hand now?
Does anyone else have anything else they want to do?
This is what the
Are
whole
you gonna
episode's
break his
been.
hand? Like what?
Listen, it'll be fine. Everything's gonna be fine. This guy's just gonna be a little confused, okay?
What is this, episode 20, you
Are you
said? This
gonna
is
like
what the
slap
whole...
fest him? I don't.
Ooh,
Everything's
slap.
gonna everything's gonna be fine. All right.
Did you
Al
say
as
the,
the last.
did you say the
What?
slap thing out loud? Because Romy's ears would have perked up.
No.
No, we're just metagaming over here. Al
Remy's
walks
meta
up.
ears perk up.
Al just walks over and shakes his hand, tries to like get a good handshake in, not too much pressure, like a good handshake, but not trying to intimidate him. And then after he shakes his hand, he reaches into his pocket and he pulls out a garlic press. And he looks at him and goes, "I want you to have this because I don't necessarily understand exactly everything we're going to do together, but I want you to know that for all of the weird stuff that's gone on today, I actually kind of like you too." And he hands him a garlic press.
Welcome to the neighborhood.
I feel like Al is just like weirdly courting half the planet now. I don't really understand.
He kind of looks down at the garlic press, and like he looks kind of confused for a moment. Like as Al's speaking, like, "Oh, well, that's very nice of you. I like you too."
And
But
and if you like the quality of that baby, we got more where that came from.
he's like, "But I'm allergic to garlic."
Can also squeeze very small
Cat
oranges.
Cat just kind of like Cat is heading toward the door. She watched that happen out of the corner of her eye, and she's headed to the door. And she waves her hand dismissively, and she's just like, "Al has never used one of those for garlic, but just it's a gift of his people. So just
It's people.
just take it as a compliment."
Al just leans in and goes, "Listen, you don't have to use it for garlic. I've been doing some research. Like anything that you can fit in there,
You can squeeze it.
yeah, good. Listen, olives,
Almond.
anchovies, whatever."
What?
It's really good.
Anchovies?
What, you never made a Caesar salad before?
Yeah, you do kind of need to. grind up those anchovies for it.
I'm even more grossed out than I was by the pineapple pizza.
Ooh, pineapple pizza with Caesar dressing.
Ugh.
Alpha like takes the garlic press and Cat's like commenting. Oh, well, thank you for the gift of your people.
Parker's trying really hard not to snicker in the background.
Al's gonna clarify. He's gonna listen. This is just from me to you. This is a me thing. Don't worry about them. They're not keen to the garlic press thing. Also, really, this is just an olive branch. Not literally, obviously. I don't think that they grow olives on this planet.
But you can press olive.
But you can press olives in this. So in a roundabout kind of way. And then as the buzz starts to wear off, he looks down at the garlic press and goes, yeah, just keep that and remember that it's a token of friendship, and I'm going to leave now. But we'll talk soon, okay?
And use that olive oil to grease up the gears of our friendship.
Cat just kind of mutters to Al when he catches up, like, you should have just left it a gift of your people.
Al shakes his head and goes, listen, I'm just trying to diffuse the situation. I guess I'm worse at it than he is. Under his breath.
Speaking of
I think that's not possible.
Romy diffuses the couch because he seems like a good guy.
Oh, well, that's good. So the bomb still exists. It's just not active currently.
Yeah. I mean, she's gonna leave there.
I want you, Seiji. I want you to take this down. There is a bomb on the couch somewhere.
And she's gonna use it the first time you beat her to it.
It is now a plot device.
So essentially, we're gonna have like this stand down where everyone thinks it's gonna take place in like Max, but really, Masashi is gonna come to this guy's office.
And he's gonna have to keep that couch at 88 miles per hour. Or it explodes.
Masashi's just gonna be in the office, and then we're gonna like throw a lighter in, and
a tragic
it's
accident
gonna be all over.
rocked the governor's mansion today when a couch bomb exploded in the office.
Couch bomb. Well,
what do you think is going to happen?
A traveler, it's I could see that, a couch bomb.
Yeah, I was gonna just lay out what could potentially happen, but I don't want to give Seiji any ideas.
Don't give Romy any ideas either.
Yeah.
Well, you could say whatever happens, it'll cushion the blow.
I hate you so much.
And then part of the ceiling collapsed and crushed Romy beneath it.
Rocks fall, everyone dies. Sorry, were you literally saying that at the same time I was?
Yes.
Yeah.
I can't wait until Seiji takes the tomb before his
Kimchi was saying it too.
Yeah, I said it too.
I think all of us have to say rocks fall.
Romy didn't say it, she was crushed.
I mean, yeah.
With that in tune that we even use the same meme.
And on that bombshell.
No, there's no bomb. It got defused.
I mean, there is a bomb. It's just a diffused bomb.
But yes. So you make your way out of the office. The security people.
Every time you start saying "make your way," I start getting Vanessa Carlton's look back in my head.
The security people kind of just like offer you a polite nod. They just like kind of let you leave.
Cat pauses and goes, "You guys might want to search her," and like points at Romy.
Romy runs. She just takes off running.
I mean, you didn't actually take anything, so.
No, but she just runs. And she yells at her AI to put down an oil slick.
That would imply that you put a bunch of oil in with your AI.
That would imply you wouldn't put it past her to do that.
Yeah, but how big is this thing? Like,
my AI is part of my drone now. It's controlling my drone. See? Ando even appreciates that.
So you're wasting necessary oil for powering your drone to use as a gimmick?
You
No,
actually-
it's tediously hand pressed olive oil.
It was a
Yeah,
precious gift from Al,
I've
and
installed 4 garlic presses, each armed with 1 olive for such a situation.
That would produce such an inconsequential amount of oil.
well, that was my point. Is I don't see a way that the drone or the container of the AI any sort had enough oil of
Well, she
any
didn't
sort
say it was
to.
going to be impressive. You should see
Like-
the smoke cloud.
It's the principle of the thing.
Okay, so she's running off looking guilty.
And she yells, "You'll never catch me, coppers!"
Well, again, you have not stolen anything, so security doesn't care.
Well, then she stops running and looks put out.
As soon as Hermie stops running, Al just leans into Cat and goes, "We were so close."
Kat just kind of gives a sigh. She's like, I need more drinks.
Which I suppose is where you are going to go, back to the bar.
I don't know if they should go back to the bar.
Now, everyone had downtime action. So let's wrap it up by figuring out what people's downtime actions are.
Okay.
Who's going first?
Wait, like when are the okay? So are these downtime actions taking place now or
Yes, they can be part of what you're doing now.
okay?
You will have some time to yourself between this session and next. A period of time will have passed. What have you chosen to do with your time and freedom of, like, stuff?
Is there like any indication of how long Burnett's expected to be off planet?
You don't know. He was chasing a fleet into deep space.
Yeah, he was. But then again, like that could take him like 4 days, and then so he's gonna get here 4 days later. You know, like it.
You have no contact. You did not look into it.
I mean, that feels like something we should just be able to find out through Holland, since we're directly under him.
Perhaps, but again, you didn't look into it.
I mean, like, we were told by the dude that he was off planet.
Yes. You were told that he is off planet but reachable through emergency communications if necessary.
Which means he's not in cryo, right? Because they wouldn't be able to reach people in cryo?
No, because you could theoretically communicate with the people. Like you could thaw them, like have an emergency
Okay.
communication.
That's what I want to make sure. Like, I didn't know what the in-game knowledge for that would have been.
Like he may be out of cryo, he may be in cryo. Like specifics you aren't certain. Like there's
I'm
nothing
sure he would have
stopping-
loved if we had him unfrozen to go in his office. Would have been great.
Oh yeah, no, I'm sure he would have loved it. He would have thanked you for your time. And
He would have been very pleasant and helpful and forthcoming.
oh, absolutely, 100%. He would have been like, ah, just the people I was waiting to hear from.
I mean, he should be, but that is not what he would say. Yeah.
No, it certainly is not.
I'm just saying he should be wanting to know what's going on with him.
I mean,
Yeah.
listen, he was off chasing things, and he gave you free reign to do what you wanted.
I know, but like he did that knowing that their free reign is always fucking something up.
I mean, maybe he has faith that you can not fuck things up.
No, he has faith that we do fuck things up. That's what I'm betting on. He just has faith that we're gonna fuck things up in a way that he can find advantageous. That's the key.
Maybe.
He's like, these are my agents of chaos. I'm unleashing them.
Maybe he was just hoping you wouldn't follow him into battle as Agents of Chaos.
I mean,
He probably watched that last mission and was like, "You stay the fuck away from me."
Well, Romy at least. God. He's like,
It's not my fault y'all were all around me.
I mean, like, okay, so now both Harker and Romy have blown up a mech in Kat's face.
Including her own in one instance.
Yeah, well, that's where Romy has crossed the line.
Yeah.
Harker's been forgiven because it was the enemy mech and it just, like, more like singed the goblin. You fused Kat into the cockpit.
But you get it's gonna be good as new.
He brought you closer together with your mech.
Yeah. And skin grafts.
Anyways, so
What's the
downtime
page
actions.
what's the page for downtime actions? I cannot find them.
It's like 52 or 58 or something.
50.
5 for
53.
I was right. It's 52, 3, whatever.
53, yeah. You were close.
I was right. It was the one number I didn't say in the 50s.
It's literally neither 52 nor 58, but it is between those two.
Or 55 and the other one she said.
Yeah, 55 is on there. But anyways, I actually have my downtime action
Sure, what's your
potentially
downtime action?
set up here.
What's your downtime action?
So Al's gonna take his time just kind of focusing on dexterity in general. And when I talk about this, I'm talking like he's just going to, look and see kind of what kind of like street acrobats and entertainers there are around and try to teach himself some of those things because he realizes he has a big clunky mech, but he actually has some plans to bulk up what he can do in close range, and he wants to be better with sword fighting in general.
Okay.
As a kind of thing that we're going to use, but he's going to study it in the traditional sense. And the thing that he's going to focus on mostly is flourishes and misdirection when it comes to control, because he can direct force in the right direction. He's always been able to do that, but it's always been clunky. So he wants to get focused and put a rank in, what's it called? Show off.
Okay.
Oh, he's pulling a Harker.
So, sure, why not? You've decided to take up the art of, basically street performing.
I mean, it sounds weird, but I'm just looking at people who are using weapons in a non-traditional like fighting format and seeing what kinds of things that they're doing, and I'm going to, in my downtime, practice those while I'm alone so nobody can see me fucking up royally until I get some stuff right consistently, and then I'll end up using that as flourishes when it comes to battle. If I ever have to in real life. It's probably not going to translate to the mech side of things too well, at least initially, but I want to start, now that I've learned how to hack, I want to actually get better at misdirection in regular combat as well.
Okay.
So it sounds weird, but I'm trying to give it a story angle here.
Sure. So you get focused.
Yep, I'm going to get focused, and it's going to be the... where is it? I just had it in front of me. Show off. Yeah, just show off. I think that's what it's called. Yep. So adding a couple ranks to show off.
Okay.
So I have a +2 in that now.
Alrighty. Who's next? Harker, Romy, Cat.
Harker is also going to get focused. He's feeling a little restless from 6 months in cryo, so he's going to go locate some underground races and practice his piloting skills, get somewhere quickly.
So you're gonna partake in illegal street racing. I see.
Yep.
Okay. So that is to get focused. Romy, what are you going to do?
I'm not sure yet. I'm still iffy on how these things work. So I'm still looking through the list.
Okay.
I'm just not sure of what Cat would be doing.
Probably get organized. She's been off planet for 6 months.
Well, no, that one I have automatically.
Anytime
Oh,
there's
okay.
a downtime action, she has to roll. For
Yeah, I
organized.
rolled it last time at the end of the thing before.
Oh,
this
okay.
time, so
She could
that it's
continue
already been
to
rolled.
like focus on it, but like she has to roll on it every downtime action, regardless of whether or not
Gotcha.
she further invest in.
Gotcha. Well, you could just get lit.
Hmm. I literally don't know right now. I might have to fill that in start of next time.
Okay. You know,
'Cause I'm like debating several things. I'm trying to figure out.
we can figure it out between sessions. That is an option if you and Romy both are not certain what you are doing right now. That's fine.
Well, let's be real. Since the beginning of this whole campaign, Kat is not certain what she's doing right now. So
Fair. I mean, the real question, right? Like, is you have a better idea of what you're doing than Alva Mason?
Is that even a question?
I mean, I asked it, did I not?
I mean,
You know what I mean?
honestly, possibly not. I have more of an idea of what I'm doing personally, but in terms of widespread ramifications, no. That would be a giant no. The difference is, I know I don't know what I'm doing.
Fair. But yeah. So yeah, we can push it back. We can do it before next session. That'll give you side on the thing, which means that
mean, like,
I will
I
contact
guess
you about 10 minutes before session to make sure you come up to a decision.
no, I guess okay. I guess what she would want to be doing right now is she would make an attempt to get information from internal Holland.
Okay.
Like, because she wants to know what is going on, what is the actual game plan, and not just what they've been reporting. Because obviously that report was bullshit. So
Okay, so you would like to gather information on Holland about their long-term plans with Wayfar.
Mhm.
Okay.
So what would I need to roll?
You would roll me a d20, and on a 9 or less, bad things can happen. On a 10 to 19,
So it doesn't matter that I have an investigate?
no, that is not how that works for a downtime action. On a 10 to 19,
Technically, it is how that works in a downtime action. You can apply modifiers if they relate.
Can, however, because of things, no. Well,
You got it, boss.
yeah. Because the nature of what you are investigating will not quite.
Well, I also have hack and fix, but
Yeah.
so 1d20.
Yep. Okay.
I expected that to go horribly.
Yeah. So on a 10 to 19, you will get the information that you're looking for, flat out. Fine. You do have to make a choice. You can either leave clear evidence of your rummaging,
Welcome to Harker's life.
or you need to either dispatch someone or implicate someone innocent to avoid you being the one getting the attention of your meddling, basically.
What does dispatch mean in the scenario?
You blame someone else, and like the full weight of Holland not liking that happening comes down on them. So that depends on how bad Holland gets.
Do I choose who gets blamed, or are you telling me who's getting blamed?
No, I tell you. Well, basically, I would tell you what the outcome is. You choose either you get blamed or someone else gets blamed.
In this scenario, we have the issue of Cat also is known as a hacker name. So would it be like straight up like this is Cat, or would it be that this is this hacker that would bring more fire on?
You don't get that choice.
No, but that's what my question is. It's like,
well, the person making the hacking is the person that would get blamed.
okay.
However, that doesn't particularly help you given who your boss is.
Oh no, but only our boss knows that, so that's the difference, is what I'm saying. Because like Cat's made like a ton of enemies even in core space as a hacker, but they don't necessarily know her real name. Obviously, Barnett does. Like he would know immediately who it was,
Yeah.
or he'd be like, "Fuck, is it Slice again?"
It
But
would also raise the point that like implicating your hacker identity would raise a situation of Holland now needing to figure out who that is. Which up until this point they haven't seemed to care.
I mean, I guess I would just abandon the information then, because
You don't get that option on a 10 to a 19.
really,
Yeah.
like that sucks. Like, why can't you just like back out?
Harker couldn't back out.
Yep.
Yeah, but you actually in a freaking office.
Basically,
Like-
you've gotten the information, you pulled the data, and then as you're pulling the data, you realize you need to blame somebody because you're sort of caught on it.
Well, I would be fine with them having to find out who the hacker is.
Okay.
I mean, it sucks, but the other options. There's no way Cat would ever let anyone else take the fall for something she hacked for. Like, never.
Okay.
But she's not going to be like, and yes, this is my real name. Hi.
Okay. So yeah, you do get a report on Holland's plans for Wayfar. We won't cover the full specifics of that right now, but that is a reserve that you now have access to if you ever need to pull up on it for whatever. Either as leverage or negotiation or any such thing.
Mhm.
We'll cover that specifics in the future as needed. But it is an available reserve for you now.
Okay.
Which leaves us with one person left to go. Romy.
I mean, I guess I could do cooking up to +4. Since that's come in so useful so far.
I mean, it's only as useful as you choose to make it.
Yep, I'll do that.
Okay. You have chosen to learn how to cook better. Okay. That is
Good, because
3
between Hucker and Cat, they're gonna be in plenty of hot water. So
that is 3 get focused and 1 gather information. Now, Marcus player needs to get going soon, so we will wrap our session up for tonight. Our next session will be on the 16th. That's 2 weeks from now. Around that time is when this will be seeing the upload and access on YouTube. So if you're watching this now on YouTube, then somewhere around the 30th is when you'll be seeing next session for you. I do about a 2-week delay ish, assuming I remember. Yeah, sometimes I'm real bad about it, but next session we'll pick up from where we are today. Hope to see you there, either here on Twitch or on YouTube. Again, if you are watching the YouTube VODs, I don't cut them. They're long. They're not as long as they used to be. They're now only about 3 to 4 hours instead of, I think our longest one was like 8. It was long.
Yep.
They're not quite as long as they used to be. Trying to get things flowing smoothly for everyone's schedule. But thanks for watching those. Thanks for coming out to the streams. If you like what you watch, you can give me a subscribe on YouTube. It'll notify you when new episodes are posted in the VOD archive. Give me a follow here on Twitch if you are so interested. You will get notifications. I do try to do every other week. Going forward, I am trying to fit in more schedule for not tabletop role-playing streams. We'll see what those are like. I have a lot of things planned in the upcoming months that I just need to get everything sorted and focused. I'd like to provide some more content. At some point, I'd like to offer more tabletop streams other than every other Sunday, but that is sort of a long-term goal, and I have no idea when that's going to be. I know Romy's player is currently developing a game called The Frogs.
Yep.
It's currently listed on Steam, and where else?
It's mostly just on Steam, but I also have it on, let me forget it, Game Jolt.
Okay, so The Frogs, currently listed on Game Jolt and Steam, claiming a December release, tentatively.
Yeah, tentatively. And it's going to be at the Steam Game Jam thing that they're doing in June.
It is a point-and-click old-style adventure game.
Made with Renaissance paintings.
Take a look at it. It uses public domain assets, so if you like Renaissance art, and music,
Classical music.
classical music, not an era specific.
18th century. Public domain classical music. If it's public domain, it
Yeah.
gets a shot. But yeah, I focus on 18th century stuff.
It's a good time. Check it out.
If you like that kind of stuff, and you like weird humor and puns, I guess that's the game for you. If you like what you see out of Romy here, just imagine that as an entire video game.
With all the characters as Romy.
I mean, yeah, basically.
One scene has 80 characters.
Well,
and
that's
they're all
convinced me to
Romy.
never test it for you.
They're not all Romy, I don't think.
If you thought one Romy wasn't enough,
There are
play a
explosions.
game full of Romy.
There's definitely an explosion.
If you're not a fan of more Romy and you think one Romy is enough, feel free to stop by every other Sunday.
And play the frogs anyway.
There is a demo, if I understand correctly. It's good for about like hour or two, depending, right? Like depending on how
Yeah,
fast
I mean,
people are actually
You
paying
know what
attention.
you're doing. You can get it done in half an hour. If you don't, it could take 2 or 3. So yeah.
So if you're interested, take a look at that. Al, you have anything to advertise? Music, streaming, podcasting?
I mean, the gigs are starting up again, but we're not streaming any gigs anytime soon. So if you live in, well, I don't even know if I should give anywhere near my location. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about.
So currently, no. We'll see in the future.
Yeah.
So if you already know about me, this is an advertisement for you, basically.
Yeah.
You're
You know who
not
you are.
streaming right now, and your podcast is not going on.
No, the podcast is kind of kibosh right now. There's a lot of stuff going on, and yeah, there's just stuff happening.
Okay, that's fair enough.
Yeah. I mean, as a personal announcement, I'll be watching a friend's cat for 3 weeks, so that'll be fun.
But you're not streaming that, so the people can't watch or read about it unless you want to document it as like weird like trench warfare
Yeah, start
stories.
a friend's.
If
friend's
enough
cat vlog.
people, yeah, if enough people DM me, and I mean literally one at this point, person DMs me on my main channel, Monty B Man, and says they want me to live tweet this entire cat experience, then I'll go ahead and do it.
You heard it here, folks. If you tweet him, he will reenact his stories of his cat things, because I guess that's the thing that we can offer.
And I am on Twitter at MontyBman. I have literally one post that's basically a call out for people to fight me over what's a better pepper, jalapenos or habaneros.
I tweet all the time because I'm desperate for followers.
Well, first step to admitting you have a problem, right?
Yeah. I even started an Instagram. That's how bad it's getting.
You gotta play the social media game.
I'm doing more social media than game development at this point, and it's irksome.
Kat, anything
That's just the current experience.
You want to pitch any streams you're going to be on? Any things that you're doing during the weeks?
Nope.
Fair enough.
I've been working, and I'm going to be working more. So.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Work.
Listen, work. I say this all the time. Work is overrated, and everyone counters like, no, working is important. It's like, no. Money is very important, but working is very overrated. So how about you, Harker? Anything you want to pitch, advertise, or shout out?
Harker's like, I want to pitch bed. Can I go to bed?
No, I'm boring.
Huh?
Turns out the two girls are not shills.
Hey, I didn't start my shilling. It was shilled for me, and then I just played along.
Okay, fair enough. We are going to do raid today, I think. No raid shout out. I don't care. Say hello to people. A friend of mine is streaming. She is doing a 24-hour charity stream because she hates herself. But it is for a good cause. It is AAPI hate. So if you are not familiar, it's sort of working to stop hate toward Asians because of the unfortunate thing of COVID causing people to be terrible human beings toward
Yeah,
Asian
that's
people.
stupid that's got to even be a thing.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, it's kind of always been a thing. It's not
Oh
like it,
yeah,
like,
it's always
it's not
been
like
a
it
thing,
popped
but
up with COVID.
no,
It's
but
like
it's
it's
so
just
much
happened
worse
to have
now.
gotten much worse with COVID.
yes, I'm just saying, like,
So
the
you
real
know,
world workers
she
didn't have the best time either.
Let's get it
she
back to
is
the level
currently
where we can
playing
ignore it again.
Super Seducer and commenting about how much she
Oh
hates it.
God.
It is a terrible game by a terrible person, and it really is an experience of all of us sitting here watching this going, oh my god, how was this made? I don't
I
understand.
thought Twitch banned that.
No. It is the sequels because the sequels decided they were going to get more explicit because it sells like units.
Yeah.
Units.
Super Seducer, though, is a super fun game to watch as long as you don't, use any of the information it gives you.
Yes.
Or find yourself sickened by
So we're just
what's
gonna raid
going
my
on.
friend. You can hang out if you'd like. She is just streaming for charity. Donate to the cause if you'd like. I am Asian, so it is kind of a relevant thing that I would like to support. Yeah. However, for everyone who has come today to hang out, chat, you know, super appreciate it. If you're watching this on YouTube, again, thank you for coming and like watching and staying to the end of these.
And you can still donate. The charity will still be there.
Yeah, charity will still be there. You won't get part of the raid obviously if you're on the YouTube, but look into the charity. It's the Stop AAPI Hate. I think it's the charity. Maybe I am really terrible at remembering the name of the actual charity, but I think it's stopapihate.org.
Yep, you got it.
Um,
I'll post it into the Twitch chat. There you go.
yes, it is stopapihate.org. So if you want to donate or support the cause in any way, super appreciated. If you don't really, just anything that you can do, fine. I understand that some people don't want to support specific things. I can't make you. I'm not gonna preach on it anymore. Just what we're going over to today. But thanks for coming to everybody who showed up, and hope to see you next time. And until then, stay safe and take care of yourself.
And if you like this, tell your friends. Tell everybody. That was a good session.
Yeah.
If we get big enough, I will sell garlic presses for charity.